Welcome to the rabbit hole, where we go deep, deep into the rabbit hole. We're like-minded me. Welcome to the rabbit hole, the truth we see. There's lizard people everywhere, the conspiracies be.
Welcome to the rabbit hole, where we go deep, uninvited from the rabbit hole. The weak-minded sheep for the open-minded people, not the little but the weak. To the rabbit hole. You sure you wanna be?
We have before us the opportunity to forge a new world order.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society.
And for future generations.
Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society. We don't have time for a
new world order.
Treasure Island.
They never come back. Boy.
Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode 9 of the Rabbit Hole Ramblings. I can see 33 people are in the chat. That's obviously ominous. That's ominous. 33. We know what that means. If you've been around in these parts for a little while, we know that 33 is not a good number, but we don't mind. It's jumping up now. It's jumping up. How's everybody doing? There's 4 of us today, the fabulous 4, and we are here to talk about Hollywood, or should I call it Holly Weird? Holly Weird. There is a lot of weird things happening out in Hollywood, and as Nikos was saying backstage, if any show is going to get us cancelled, then this might be the one. We'll find out. Before I come and say hello to the people, the lovely peeps, let me put the lady at the top of the. Let me put Susie. Captain Susie. I'll put Captain Susie at the top. She kept us in check last time she was on. Before I come and say hello to everybody, let me ask you guys in the chat how you are. I hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things you love. We love to see you all. It is Tuesday night, and there is nowhere else you'd rather be. I mean, you might be watching some football, but hopefully you'd rather be listening to us waffle on. Smash the like button for us if you don't mind. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment or two. By the way, the channel, this channel's videos are also now on podcast format. We are podcasting. We are diversifying the risk of the censorship because it's going to happen. We're going to get cancelled at some point. We know that's going to happen. And so I encourage all of you that are on the podcast platform thing to search for Rabbit Hole Ramblings or get into the description and you'll find the link. Guys, let me start with you, Susie. Ladies first. How are you? How are you doing? Welcome back.
Yeah, I did come back. Can you believe it? For a second week. Woohoo.
A second. Let's be entirely clear here. You were fuming at the prospect that Friday night show would maybe be delving into this particular topic.
Yes.
Right? So, you loved it, didn't you? You fell in love with us last Friday.
I did, although there were some things I did watch a little bit of Friday's episode, and there was some stuff that you guys touched on. It's a little bit contradictory to other stuff that you've said, but I mean, we can bring that up later in the show.
I think you're talking about me, I guess.
Both of you, actually.
wait. Okay. Well, let me find out how Nikos and John are doing, and then we'll start there. We'll go on a random walk. What's that, John? Sorry, mate.
Susie must have been talking about Eugene's, not us.
I think Eugene's going to pop in. He said Hollywood. What did he say? Hollywood gossip isn't really my thing. I'm more into the aliens. And I texted him back saying, "What do you mean? It's all aliens, bro. It all starts with aliens." Nikos, how are you, mate? Good to see you.
Good, mate. Good. I've had a sick kid home today, partially because he was sick, partially because I didn't want to feel like a degenerate watching superhero movies at 10 o'clock in the morning on my own. So, yeah, I've had a nice, relaxing day. Weather's got cold here. But looking forward to the shows. Always look forward to them. All the good stuff. Comment, like, subscribe, all that. And, a disclaimer, I think, is definitely necessary on this show, if any other show. The thoughts and opinions on this show are mine and mine only. They're for entertainment purposes. Please don't take anything I say too seriously. definitely.
Yeah. We're going to put a cap. I'm going to retitle the show with a capital allegedly, just to make sure that there's no superstar Hollywood lawyers or whatever can come and sue us. John, before we get into it, I'm really curious to find out what it was exactly from last week that Susie's got an issue with. We'll come to that in just a second. John, how you doing, John?
I'm good, thanks, Sean. How are you?
Good, mate. Why are you doing this? What's this? Why are you doing? Why are you doing the? What's going on? You're putting up some sort of Satanist ritual stuff there.
Oh yeah, I'm good, but I'm even better now. I've seen Flo Marple is in the house.
Mrs. Marple, my
Mrs.
favourite.
Marple's in the grid.
Nice
What's happening, Mrs. Marple? We'll come and say to the chat in a minute. So come on in, Susie. What happened on Friday night show that you got an issue with?
So you guys were talking about, I can't remember what the place was called, but it was like up in the mountains and like the amazing structures that they kind of built. And it was like, how is that all done? And then it was also about like how everything is positioned to read like the stars. And then I think, Nikos, you specifically said, oh yeah, but civilizations have been using stars for like hundreds of years. But then weren't you also the person last week that was saying about the stars and that they're not real?
No, it's not that they're not real. It's that they've been there for eternity in the same position. So civilizations going back thousands of years, not necessarily hundreds of years, have used them as a way of mapping the seasons, the time of year and stuff. It's not that they're not real. They're etched into the firmament. Mate, we're literally 10 minutes in and we're already on flat Earth. But no,
it wasn't on the agenda tonight, but it always gets its calling card. It's like Harry Kane scoring a goal. You know, it's always
to answer this question, no, like they've been there. That's why they're so trustworthy. Is because civilization.
When you guys were showing the pictures of the stars, you said that they are fake, that they're not real.
No, it's
so
not
they're luminaries. They're luminaries.
Yeah, I said that they're not physical bodies. The planets are not physical bodies. They're there. We can see them. I can see them when I look out the window, but I just don't think they're what we're told they are. They're not millions and billions and trillions of light years away. I think they're etched into the firmament. And civilizations have used that to their advantage in recorded history to do things like their agriculture. It's just that simple, you know. I don't think it's a contradiction to anything I've said. Although I probably do have a few drinks and contradict myself on many things, I don't think that's one of them. Go on, what's the other one?
Nikos has been challenged already, and so yeah. I mean, I don't think I was. I think I was saying just about the you know the rocks and that. I think I was making the same point that you were when I was bringing it up. I was saying I think that we all agreed that there's some random stuff that's happening in Machu Picchu. I think Susie, do you not think that the Machu Picchu? You know what? Let's reverse engineer this skepticism, Susie. What exactly do you put the Machu Picchu?
No. So on that, I do actually. I don't have an answer for it, but things like that and the pyramids. I mean, yeah, you can spend a long time thinking about how it happened. You know, they didn't have the machinery, and you know those things are, you know, the rocks or whatever you want to call it, the bricks are so heavy, and yeah, so you can think about it for a long time. I don't have the answers to it. I do find it fascinating.
You just like to poke holes in the people that do have a suggested answer for it. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
I just think sometimes you guys are so black and white on your viewpoint. It's like you almost believe everything is a conspiracy.
Probably closer to the truth than you realise, actually, to be honest. There's probably more conspiracy than we know as fact and truth these days. I would think.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. But what was the other problem we got?
No, that was pretty as much far as I got into the show, to be honest.
Then we don't have a problem.
I mean,
but you're not really, if you're not part of the show, you're not interested in watching it back. We get it. I understand how it works.
No, I was. I just didn't have full time. But what I do want to get into, though, I started watching your video that you said on YouTube about the flat Earth. I think I got to point 15. I had to stop for a bit. But I mean, I don't even know where to start with that. Some of the stuff that you guys believe, or the flat earthers believe, like, just blows my mind.
That's the point. Well, there's
it blows my mind that you believe and you don't question what this guy is saying.
No, again, what you can do with this guy is you can use him as like a foundation for further research. You don't just take one guy's views on YouTube
Okay, so can I say my favorite one of the 15 that I got through?
There's 200, by the way.
The Earth is spinning at what he said 1,000 miles per minute or whatever, however long. So a plane coming down to land, how does a plane not burst into flames if it's landing on something that's spinning that fast?
There
And
you
in
go.
your mind, you've thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. I just don't get it.
Yeah, aviation is a good topic actually, because you know, if it was spinning like they say at 1,000 miles an hour or whatever it is in all these different directions, and it would be cheaper for helicopters just to take up into the air and sit there and wait for the earth underneath them to move.
Yeah,
But
that's what
they
they
always
said
come.
about the hot air balloon.
Yeah. But
So you do know that the sky moves with the world. So the sky doesn't stay stationary. So if a hot air balloon or helicopter is in the sky, you do know that that moves with the land underneath it. So it's not stationary, and the earth is moving.
At what point does that stop? Is the question, right? At what point does the air become the vacuum of space? Because I'm not sure what the law of physics is. I'm sure it's Einstein's or Boyle's fourth law of something or other, that basically every vacuum has to have a container.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, isn't that the ozone layer?
It's not a physical layer. It can't contain gases and everything else they say that's in the atmosphere. There's no physical container to stop it all floating out into space.
At some point, you go up far enough. I'm not a flat earther. I'm just making the argument for the people that are flat earthers.
Appreciate it.
At some point,
Yes, if they need your help,
Sean. Doing the Lord's work, or maybe the devil's work. I don't know.
So here's a question. If the earth is flat, how do you then explain 1, different seasons, and 2, night and day? Because if it's flat, then surely the sun is showing on the whole of the earth.
The sun
What?
It's all in there.
If you get to past number 15 on that list, but you gave up on 15.
That's all I could. It's all my brain could handle at that specific time. I was just like, this can't be real.
Yeah, the sun and the moon move around us, and at some points in the year, which we know as the seasons, the sun is further away. It's on like a coil, like a Tesla coil. They move in different speeds and they catch up with each other. But at different times in the year, some places will remain warmer and lighter, and some places will be cooler and darker. It's in there. It's in there. It's probably number 36 or something. 33.
Yeah, I mean that still wouldn't make, even if it doesn't matter who's rotating around who. The point is,
no, but the concept is also that the sun isn't as far away as the science suggests, and that it's actually a lot more local. Like it's not 6 million miles away. It's like 6,000 or whatever.
It's 93 million.
Or whatever it is. Yeah, whatever the official science is, it's like a hell of a lot closer than that. And therefore the sun, as it moves around the plane rather than around it. It moves like, if that's the flat Earth model, it does this basically rather than doing this. And therefore at certain times of the year, at certain times of the procession or whatever, it's far enough away that it's not.
What about those places that don't get any sunlight throughout the year? They go through a whole season without, where it's just pure darkness for an entire, like.
This is what I've said to Nikos and to John and to Team Black Cats. Eugene, who's joined us, double skeptic. We've got 2 skeptics on the show. We've got Mr. in the middle, Mr. Middle Ground, and we got 2 of the flirters right here. Big up to you, Eugene. We have suggested, Susie, that if this channel ever makes enough money before it gets shut down, then every single penny of it will go into buying both, and you can be a part of this as well, Susie, Eugene, Nikos, John, and myself. We're all going on a mission to the South Pole, to the Antarctic, whereby at the time of the year where the 24-hour sun should be observable, and then we will see for ourselves. And if there is a 24-hour sun that's observable, then that should prove that the Earth is round. If it isn't observable at that time of the year, then it should prove that the Earth is flat. However, I've got a sneaking suspicion that if we do get on that plane and it does prove it, Nikos will question whether the plane took us where the plane was supposed to take us.
I'll be taking my own compass. I'll be taking my own map. I'll be taking my own, way of locating myself, my own GPS tracker and all that stuff. I'll be checking it out. Don't worry. I'll find a hole in it somewhere. I can figure out. I can smell a shit salesman all over the place.
But talk about shit salesman. Team Black Cats, Eugene, how are you, my man? Good to see you, buddy. You okay?
Good to be on. I'm glad we're back to flat Earth.
Mate, we didn't even get anywhere. We just went straight
We
to
didn't
it.
get anywhere.
It never goes away. It
Just
never
went straight
goes away.
into the flat Earth stuff. You know, what are we doing here?
It's okay.
Can we invite Eric Debay on Monday?
Gossip.
Do you
I'm
know
ready.
Eric Debay, Nikos?
I've got his email address. Yeah, I've actually corresponded with him directly. Yeah, it's not like I know him like in person. We don't go out for beers on Friday, but I could contact him and suggest him that there's a big group of Tottenham skeptics out there that need to be put to their right, and we should invite you in to just, give some information so that, I'm not the only crazy person out there. But I could send him an email. I could send him an email and invite him.
Let's do it. Let's wait until we get to at least 1,000 subs.
I think so. Yeah.
Should we get Eric Debay on? Again, mate.
Let's email Eric now. Let's see what he's up to.
Eric, we're going to email him in real time, see if we can dial him right now, wherever he's. But he might be somewhere else on the flat Earth where it's nighttime or it's daytime or something. We don't know.
He's in America.
I think it's still come on.
Yeah, he's in America. I think you'd probably have to book him and probably give him a bit of a heads up. I don't think he'd spontaneously jump into some random show with 50 people watching. But, I could contact him and suggest that maybe if you want to get his word out to a large community of people that's growing, let's get the numbers up and maybe we can make that a special guest at some point in the future.
I think he's in Thailand, isn't he?
Used to be in Thailand and Cambodia. He moved back to America.
He'll probably tell us to fuck off, but it's worth asking.
Thailand, shocker.
Yeah, mate, you can only but say no. So he loves going. He actually does a lot of like small creators as well. Like some on his YouTube channel. I don't know if you got as far as like some of the things he's like promoting, but one of the channels he's promoting is they call it gaming awareness or something like this. It's like basically a guide that goes into like some of these like platforms for like shoot 'em up games that kids play. Like he targets specifically 16 to 25-year-olds, and he sets his screen name as
so he's grooming.
No, not grooming. No. Don't take my word. I didn't say that. This guy that he's promoting, he goes into somebody because it's an audience that you can't get. People of that generation are not reading scriptures. They're not reading Bibles. They're playing computer games. So basically, this guy come up with the idea to go in, and he sets his name up as Space is Fake, and it's one of those gaming channels on PlayStation or whatever where people can actually like talk to each other, and he ends up answering like a Q&A in like the commentary of the game. And like it's some of the videos are just insane that the guy does. But yeah, he literally like he's reaching out to a generation of people to spark awareness, and it's such a crazy like great idea, But there's an audience of that are not reachable right now. So I like the creativeness, but he does promote that channel, and I think that channel's only got like 2,000 subscribers or something.
Okay, so we're halfway there then. Well, we're a third of the way there. A few more episodes, guys. Make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe. Listen, we didn't come into that. I don't know how we got onto Flat Earth straight out of the trap.
Susie did it.
Yeah, Susie, yeah. Captain Susie, Captain Derailment. Listen, let's talk a little bit about Hollywood. Should we talk a little bit about Hollywood? Listen, for those of you in the chat, a lot of Hollywood, right? If you watch Nickelodeon, Disney, movies or whatever, rap stars, hip hop, the hip hop gay agenda, there's a hell of a lot of sort of first hand or third hand, however you want to think of it, footage of people that are basically saying, yep, some really weird stuff happens out there. And we're going to go, I've got like about 80 different videos of different things that sort of support that evidence. We're going to go around the houses. I know that Susie's passionate about this. I think she actually asked us to do this particular stream, which is how we got going. Let me at least start the show with a video that goes, I think it goes some way to explaining what Hollywood actually means. Now, Hollywood itself, the sign, for example, was from a construction site that was called Hollywood Land way back, like at the turn of the 20th century. And then they got rid of the land. So the Hollywood, like the big white billboards or whatever, they got rid of the land bit and they called it Hollywood. But there is something more to it, which is about the holly tree. And I'll start with that video. And then after that, I think we can bring other videos and we'll just talk about it and go over. But let's start with the holly tree introduction.
Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient druids, back in the day, used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, and when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it.
I'll go one further. I'll go one little bit further. I know Eugene is already laughing his head off. I'll go one thing further and say there's also something where they, we're talking about spells and stuff here. If you're not using your TV anymore, but you're using your phone, but you want your phone's content to be on your TV screen, what's that called these days? It's called cast, right? You have to cast your stream from your video, from your phone, from your laptop, whatever, to your TV. So there's more and more little kind of words that have the symbology behind the spells. Eugene, I'm going to start with you, my man, because you're already calling bullshit. I can already
see.
See
I'm laughing is the way he was talking. It was like he was talking to a room of like special ed kids. And when we turn on the TV, you see channels. And then, it's like, okay, dude. Like, no, it was just funny to me.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the conspiracy, just the way he was trying to explain.
Do you think it's coincidental that Hollywood is from the holly tree and that holly tree back in the day was used in order to cast spells via magic, like the wand that people like the magic, like the magicians use? The old school version of that, but was also used from Hollywood or from holly tree wood.
Initially, Hollywood wasn't even meant to be that kind of the entertainment capital of the world. It was just an area that was there. And I think that sign was made before the movie studios were even moving in. So
yeah, it was. Yeah,
so I don't think it was an agenda. It was just there. And that land was cheap, so they moved in. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that land was filled with holly trees.
Oh, I mean, sure.
Which was then used by people that were. In fact, I've actually got there's another one here. Just let me, before I bring the rest of you guys in, let me get something else that kind of extrapolates a little bit. This is from Arnie Schwarzenegger. See how much research I've done for you lot in the last hour to bring up some videos that brings some sort of culture to this evidential story. Ready?
Exactly. Actually, I did. Whenever you do a film like this, where you fight Satan or the devil, you have to prepare yourself the right way. And so I did research in satanic kind of cults and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, in Los Angeles right now, there's like 50,000 devil worshippers, and that's not even that's not even including the agents.
Yeah.
But let me
our crowd was too busy cheering satanic worship to hear the joke.
Exactly.
My governor.
Fair enough. Actually, there was an extended version of that. I think I must have screwed up somehow. There was an extended version where he was saying that that Hollywood started out with there's a disproportionately high amount of Satan worship in Hollywood because of the pagan rituals that take place there, because of the disproportionately high amount of holly trees relative to other areas of America. Thoughts, people? Thoughts?
I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. I've never heard of the sign having any association with the actual holly tree. So I don't know. Sometimes if, it's easy to sometimes put two and two together, and it's sort of like it seems plausible and it makes sense, but, that could also just be really coincidental. I don't know about that.
Yeah, but what like, the sign was literally for a construction company that was building back in the old days, like in the sort of gold rush. But why would they call it Hollywood land unless there was a hell of a lot of Hollywood there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose. But I don't think every area is named after what's like in that area.
It
Do you know
is.
what I mean?
I live in a place called Weybridge that is
Yeah, a lot of
literally called
bridges.
that because there was the River Wey, and
Okay.
back in the 1800s or 7, whatever, however many years ago, that was the place where there was a bridge over the River Wey.
Yeah, okay, then let's say there was loads of holly trees there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was all about spells and that. I mean, I
No, I'm
do
not saying
agree that there's a lot of satanic worship that's going on. I mean, across everywhere, not just Hollywood. Yeah, but I don't know about the connection to the Hollywood sign. I don't know about that.
What are you saying, Nikos?
The company that erected the Hollywood land sign was a real estate developer in 1923. And it wasn't until the late 1940s, I think they removed the land. But I don't know the origins of where the name for that real estate company come from. So I don't really have an opinion really too much on the tree stuff. You know, I have to put that on my whiteboard to look into. But I do know that in the 1920s, a large amount of Jewish immigrants bought up a lot of land there, and they built their studios in Los Angeles, and they removed the land.
Careful.
No chance. I did my disclaimer. It's true. It's true. The six original founding studios in LA was Columbia, Universal, MGM, which is Metro Goldwyn Mayer, Paramount, Warner Brothers, and 20th Century Fox, and they was all set up in the 1920s by Jewish immigrants. So again, I don't know where the holly tree comes from, but I do know a lot about the foundations of Hollywood.
We've got Cat Fun in the chat saying apparently it was named after a place called Hollywood in Illinois. The developers were from Illinois. That's what they want you to think, mate. That's what they want you to think. Maybe there's a lot of maybe there's some holly trees in Illinois as well. You know,
I'll look into it.
Let's look into that. John, I'll bring you in on the chat, mate, because I know you're gonna. I can see when you can look down at your phone, you're about to send me 100 new links and stuff. Before we lose you into the world of sharing content. What's your initial thoughts on the Hollywood, on the concept of Hollywood, where it came from? If there's any truth to the idea that there were, essentially just the fact that pagans and people that were into rituals used to use that sort of wood for their spells or whatever, spell bindings.
Yeah, I've heard the Hollywood connection many years ago about the witches and mages and so on using that type of wood for what they were doing. We also got the word broadcasting. So you're casting broadly. So you've got, the one over here, the that ends in the word broadcasting. So there's too many words that link up. That can it be?
Why did you clear your throat then? Was that supposed to be the BBC?
Yeah, that's the one.
Are you more worried about us saying the word BBC rather than Nikos saying that the Jewish?
Yeah, but we're balancing it out because we've got a Mossad agent here, so it sort of levels.
Yeah, it's true.
We're all Spurs fans, so
yeah. Someone said in the comment section, we all outlandish stuff we say, but we seem to tiptoe around Jews. Like it's just they own a lot of stuff. It's nothing personal.
It's what it is. It is what it is. All right. Well, look, let's have a quick look at some of the evidence, right? So not some of the evidence, some of the various videos that I've got here that I found that are relating to just random weird shit to do with Hollywood. Let's have a look at. I'm not sure. I've got loads of them. So let's have a look at this one here.
On behalf of Amy, I'd like to thank the devil and all the dark lords who.
Don't do the devil stuff.
Gave her this award, allowed her to feast on the flesh of the innocent.
Welcome to the Satanic Cult Awards, ladies and gentlemen. All hail the Dark Lord.
Good evening, godless sodomites.
What are you doing?
I'm bringing the truth, John. We're in Hollywood, the belly of the beast.
You can't just read the prompter?
I'm reading the prompter in here. You can read that pablum. It warps the minds of our children and weakens the resolve of our allies.
We're here to honor achievement in that category.
By giving you a golden idol to worship.
Kneel before your God, Babylon!
And Colbert used to be funny. A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
He got made. Listen, he sold his soul, bro. He got caught. He got caught up. He got
By
caught
the
up.
way,
Got caught up in the political thing, right? Because he's got to pay his masters. You know. But let's be honest, like that's the first of about 50 different examples of weird representations and references to Satan worship in Hollywood.
I mean, I don't want to jump the gun. Maybe you have some clips of Tom Cruise, but Scientology that's the thing that we got to get into, because that's the biggest driver.
So we can
in
slander
Hollywood.
Scientology, but we can't slander Jews, right? Is that where we're at? So
Hey, we are the chosen people. Scientologists just
chosen by
invent the
yourselves.
story. So that's big difference. So big.
All right, let's go to Scientology and let's have a little pivot. Talk to me about Scientology then.
No, I'm just saying, like Tom Cruise, like the biggest stars in Hollywood, the biggest agents, they get roles based on their inclusion in the Church of Scientology. Right. So what's his name? Hubbard. He is the most published author of all time, and he
In
was
fiction, right?
a terrible science fiction author. And there was this documentary from Leah Remini, I think. Right. She escaped. I think it's called Going Clear. It was an HBO doc. It was insane. It was one of the few that just blew my mind. So it goes into Scientology and kind of how things work with like Travolta, Tom Cruise. Insane, like what they make people do, and how they got started for tax exemption and everything else. But Scientology, that's where all the power is. They own billions and billions of dollars in real estate everywhere, and that's the biggest driver of anything in Hollywood at this point. I'm not sure about satanic cults and everything else, but I know for a fact Scientology is like, if you want to get big role, or in the past, if you want to get big roles, if you want to be signed by big agents, you got to be in the Church of Scientology.
Are you familiar with Clear Lake in Florida?
Clear Lake, like the ones that own Chelsea?
No, Clear Lake is a town in Florida where the Church of Scientology have literally bought up nearly every bit of land available in the whole town. And there's videos on YouTube of people going there exploring. There's not enough actually practicing members of Scientology to occupy all of the buildings. So they've got like closed windows, closed doors, and anybody that's kind of seen there is chased out of town by the police who are on the payroll there. It's kind of a really, really weird place, but it seems to be the home, and it's where their lead church is. It's in Clear Lake in Florida.
I don't know any of that. I'm not sure about that one myself. I've not heard that. Who else? So who else is in the Scientology world then? So you got Tom
Cruise is the biggest one. Then John Travolta.
Travolta was a big Scientologist, wasn't he?
Most of them, like most of big actors and like actors in the shows that you've seen, and that's why that doc is crazy, because they tell you basically how you cannot escape. Like people who go against the church, meaning who even talk to people like outside, they're taking to this like place in Florida, and they get like physically abused. Like, it's insane. Like, I really recommend you guys watch Going Clear. So Leah Remini saying how she was escaping, like she had a friend waiting for her in the car, she had to run out, like people were chasing her. Like, it's insane. Like, it's the craziest story you've ever heard.
Yeah, because when celebrities try break free from Scientology, they literally cut them off. So I mean, that's a big reason why Tom Cruise hasn't seen his daughter in like 18 years, because he had to cut her off because Katie left Scientology.
The most famous 5 members of Scientology is John Travolta, Tom Cruise, Jenna Elfman, Kirstie Alley, which she was in with a movie with John Travolta when I was a kid, if you remember rightly.
Look Who's Talking.
Look Who's Talking. Yeah,
that was awesome. That was an awesome
exactly.
film.
Nancy Cartwright, who does Bart Simpson's voice in The Simpsons, and I think a couple of others like Doug Fresh, and like really not really. But there's only like a couple of famous ones, like Eugene said. They're the most famous two, John Travolta and Tom Cruise. But if you want to compare who runs Hollywood and who runs these contracts and these these big movie studios and production companies, it's nothing to do with Scientology. You know, some of the most famous actors in the world, just to give you a couple of examples, the most famous woman in the world who's made the most money. Does anyone know who that is?
The most famous woman in the world?
The famous woman who has made the most money in movies. She's the top paid female actress of all time.
Ooh.
Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson. Hudson Jew. Jake Gyllenhaal. Natalie Portman. James Franco. Jack Black. Paul Rudd. Adam Sandler. Drake. You know, these are all Jewish people. So we can give an example of Tom Cruise and John Travolta. You could say they were high profile celebrities, but when you compare the two, you know, lists of powerful people in these music and movie industries, it's really not comparable.
But I mean, Tom Cruise literally has like servants working for him who I
could list tens of names. I can keep going, like Ben Stiller, David Schwimmer, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis, Robert Downey Jr., Jerry Springer. Like the list is just it's not comparable in any way, shape, or form at all. I could literally sit here all day and list off hundreds.
Jewish people can be part of Scientology as well, right?
No, I don't think they can.
No, because Scientology is its own religion.
Yeah,
but anybody can. All you got to do is you got to go in for this whatever thing. They give you those like things you have to hold and tell them the truth, and then they blackmail you. So it's not like a religion where like a religion. You just go in.
You don't believe in a higher power. Yeah,
it's a cult. Right, like you go in, you join him, and the funniest thing is, so Leary Manny, she was saying she reached. So her mom was a top Scientologist. She was like one of the biggest people in the church. So when she reached the final level, they're supposed to tell you like all the secrets of the universe and whatever. And then like she was told about Xenu, and she's like, "Are you guys joking me? Like I had to pay you millions of dollars and like." Wait for decades, and now like this is the story. And so
what's the story? Sorry, Xenu.
Xenu, that's their alien god, I believe. So that movie Battlefield Earth by Travolta, it's based on their myth or whatever, that it's based on kind of what the religion is based on, which is a science fiction story by Hubbard.
Yeah, but it's just as believable as anything else, though. Like, it's just as like no one has a fucking clue. Let's be entirely honest here, right? Like Jesus rising from the dead, or you know, the geezer in the Jewish Bible who got was it the Sermon on the Mount? Who got the 10 Commandments, or whoever that one was? Like the other geezer, Muhammad coming down and having his way with all the like. They're all as believable or unbelievable as anything else, because none of us know, and none of us know what happens after you die. None of us know whether aliens are real or otherwise. Like. Anyone that sits there and tells me that believing in like the Big Bang is more believable than believing in reptilians, I'm sorry, they're all as believable as anything else. Like that, you all have to. It's faith, right? It's not fact based. It's faith. You either get on board it or you don't. And people are equally susceptible to bullshit. Like sales is going to sail, in my opinion. So like I don't. If you're someone that believes in God because a Bible was written 6,000 years ago, cool. I don't hate, no problem, no judgment. You believe whatever makes you sleep at night, whatever gives you the right to, whatever allows you to behave the way you want to behave. But to sit there and tell someone else who believes that aliens, you know, wherever, that aliens live on planet Mars and come over here every now and again and capture a few people, it's just as believable as anything else, isn't it? Just on just because it was written in a book or it wasn't written in a book doesn't mean that it's more or less believable. Am I wrong?
With that whole religion is the guy who created it, Ron Hubbard. He was a science fiction writer. Like that, his career was based around writing fantasy stories, and then he came up with religion in the 1970s. You know, that's kind of a bit of a red flag for anybody that's traditional religion. You know,
and the only reason why it's a religion is they wanted to get tax breaks from the government. So what they did is they had like hundreds of lawyers suing IRS like on daily basis, until the IRS said, we don't have resources to fight back. So they just gave them the tax exemption and made it an official, the religion. for the only reason is they could not fight all the lawsuits. So like Scientology to this day is the most litigious religion, and like people cannot leave because they get blackmailed.
Scientology is riddled with people that are lawyers.
Yeah, they spend, so people have to pay them like
Brings me back to my
10%
point
or even
A.
more.
There must be Jews that are in the that are in the Scientology world then,
Here
because
we go
most
again.
of them are Jewish, right?
Thank you, Sean.
I'm saying there must be like most.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. They can have like they can have. It doesn't require them to be like, you can keep your like exclusive religious identity, but it conflicts with mainstream Judaism. The whole ideology about the God, the scripture, the afterlife, it conflicts with what a lot of religions believe. So even though they like welcome you in, as I said earlier on, like they're low on numbers. Scientology hasn't got the pull that it had a few decades ago. So they're now like kind of bending the rules a little bit for, you know, accounts to come in, you know. But yeah, the lawyers are predominantly Jewish, you know, most accountants are predominantly from Jewish families, you know, the best ones anyway. So yeah, so they'd have to either employ them or make them members. But it's definitely it feels very scammy. Has anyone ever been into a Scientology church out of curiosity? Has anyone actually been into one?
No. I don't think you can just go into one. I think they're really closed circuits.
You can get as far as about 3 foot in the door. That's as far as you can get, and then you're ushered out and threatened with police. I went into one.
I thought they wanted people to join them.
That's the problem. Is they're not very welcome.
Very elite. Just not just come in and join. It's very elite.
So you can join them. So for example, Rogan was talking about it when they tried to, or when he was starting out, he was looking around like all the agents and they were all Scientologists. So he's like, oh, I'm just going to join because I want a career. So he went in and he was asked to take that test or whatever. So you can join, but you can't just walk in. You need to say, hey, I want to join. And there's a special kind of way of doing things. But again, like they make you like spill all your secrets. And then if you want to leave, that's how they blackmail you. So Travolta, for example, there's been rumors for a long time that he wanted to leave, but they have a lot of dirt on him, whether he is gay or this or that, but
he's definitely gay. He's 100% gay.
100%. Didn't want to say it. Didn't want to say it, allegedly. Right. But he's like the Epstein of religion.
Allegedly he's 100%, 110% allegedly gay. Can we say that?
Okay. I agree, 100%.
Allegedly, by the way.
Litigious Scientologist Jews. Is that okay? Are we entirely clear there?
Hey.
Yeah, like Perch, you just mentioned in the comments there, like there was one probably near here in Barcelona, but when I first moved to Madrid, I lived in Madrid for a bit, and there was like a Scientologist church, like one road from my house, and all pissed up one afternoon on a Friday. I was like, I'm going to go see what this is, because it's really like unwelcoming on the outside. All the windows are blacked out, and like when you walk in the door, and the first thing they try and do is sell you like a €50 book or a manual or something in a subscription. It feels like, I don't know, some kind of like weird Netflix experience. It's really like,
sorry, but listen, here's my problem. Here's my problem. John, come in on this one, man. And by the way, John, if you're gonna, because whenever you talk, John, because you're sat a little bit away from the computer, it doesn't pick up if you're talking at the same time as someone else. So you can come a little bit closer if that's okay. Here's my problem with it. That as far as I'm aware, Scientology is like, it's not practiced by a hell of a lot of people, right? It's like we're talking about, if you've got like Christianity, which is maybe like 20% of the religious people in the world, I don't know, Islam maybe 35, 40, whatever, Buddhism 5%, whatever the ratios are. Scientology, we're talking about like 0.01% probably, right? There's not, you're not going to walk down, you're not going to walk into the pub and find the Scientologist. So for me, I think if you're going to control the situation, if you're going to control Hollywood, if you're going to control the media, if you're going to control the information, first of all, you're going to need more people. Second of all, you're going to need a better PR strategy, because most people that aren't Scientologists are aware that it's a cult. And so it doesn't seem like they're the people that are controlling the narrative to me, John. But you're someone that's well researched in this kind of occult stuff. So you talk to me, buddy. What's going on?
I've never even been near a Scientology church. I can't remember where it was, a long time ago, but I did meet a couple of them, and they had that machine that Eugene was talking about, where you put your hands on like two metal things and it connects. And is it something about, they talk about if you've got thetans inside of you, or Am I along the right lines? Is that correct?
Something like that, yeah.
But I don't know that much about it really, because as you said, Sean, it seems to be quite, everything about it is quite, it seems cringe, and it seems like not connected to anything else.
No, so I didn't say cringe. I said I mean, it might be cringe. I said fringe with an F.
Allegedly,
as well
for
as
the lawyers.
Yeah,
listening.
It's not like the Masons, where you can maybe look at some sort of religious connotations and connections to it and the symbology. This, I don't see anything that relates to anything else.
But
just looks
so-
like someone wrote like some dodgy sci-fi novel.
There's some modern cult. The most members they've ever recorded is about 7.8 million worldwide, and that includes anybody that's been forced to buy one of their €50 books when they walked in the front door, like I just mentioned. So if you work out the numbers, you know how many people on the planet and how many are Scientologists, it's a cult. It's just a modern day scam cult.
And it's not even about the numbers, Sean, right? Because you mentioned it's about how much money and power they got. So like all the members that they have to pay him like millions of dollars, like 20 or 30%.
Yeah, but if there's I don't know, let's just say not everyone who's going to be a Scientologist member is going to be a gazillionaire, right? So let's just say the top 1% of the 1% of people that are Scientologists are millionaires, multi-millionaires. You're still not going to get to the GDP of a Fortune 500 company.
Oh, but
right?
it's more than that. They have, but the reason why most join Scientology is not because they believe in that stuff, because they want to get ahead in their careers, right? Especially in Hollywood. So that was kind of a, you know, like, oh, if I'm going to join the church, I'm going to get more opportunities since all these people are in there.
All these other videos that I've got to show you guys in a minute, and I'll bring Susie in. All these other videos that I've got, they don't talk about Scientology. All these rappers, all these celebrities, all these movie stars, all these pop stars, whatever. They're not talking about Scientology, and maybe that's the conspiracy here. Maybe they're doing that for a reason. But they're not talking about that. They're talking about okay, but they are willing to talk about the fact that they're selling their soul.
The people, yeah, but so I think there's two different things that you've just said. So those who are the celebrities that are members of Scientology, they're not allowed to talk about it. The only celebrities who talk about Scientology are the people who've escaped the cult. And then you've got the celebrities who, yeah, I mean, there's something deep going on there, but they're not part of Scientology though. I think that's a whole different thing that's happening there.
So, but if I'm Scientology, I'm looking. Who's that bird who's married to the? Excuse my. Sorry, I shouldn't call him bird. Who's that girl who's? Apologies. Who's that girl who's married to the NFL football player who's like who's a superstar? Taylor Swift, right? So,
did you say girl?
Woman. Oh, maybe alien. I don't know. Whatever. Right?
I got you, John.
Soulless human being. Whatever. I've got some content about her as well. Whatever. But like someone like her who can influence a billion young girls, a billion young people, whatever. Like if I'm a Scientologist and I'm thinking we need ultimate power, ultimate control here. We need to cast. But whatever we're doing. If she managed to get to the very top without being a Scientologist, then something's wrong with the whole ecosystem of Scientology, because you're saying, Eugene, that the model is you want access to power, wealth, resources, you want access to the good life, then you have to join our cult.
Hollywood.
Yeah, but Sean, I think you're looking at it very narrow-minded there. So you've got 20. It's the same with if you talk about any religion, any cult, you've got 20 or 30. But what's one that's going to strike you? It might be something that's going to strike me differently. So I mean, Scientology could approach all 5 of us, but actually they've said something to me that's really convinced me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to be part of that. Somebody else could come to you about a different cult or different religion, and you're like, oh yes, actually, I want to be part of that. So I don't think it's the way you're speaking is that they kind of get everyone. It's just whoever that's what they do say, is that we would, help you become a really big star, and this is what you've got to be part of in order to do that. But not every single celebrity is part of Scientology for that particular reason.
No, most of them
I'm going to send you a quick, please. Sorry.
I was going to say, most of them are Jewish. They have their own allegiance they've already prepared themselves into. Taylor Swift, for example, is signed to Universal Music. And remember a minute ago I mentioned the top 6 movie production houses in the 1920s. Universal was one of them. So the Universal Music are one of the big 3 in music. There's 3 predominant music houses, or whatever you call them these days, and that's Universal, Warner, and Sony, and they're all offsprings of the production houses that come out of Hollywood. So these people have the same agendas as what we're probably going to discuss for movie stars. They're a lot more aligned than I think a lot of people realize, but they have to push a certain narrative that all ties in with the owners of the companies. Taylor Swift is, I mean, on Universal, Taylor Swift, Drake, and Ariana Grande, one of Sean's favorites. Three of the bigger ones.
Oh God, what's happened to
I
her?
was a massive fan of Ariana Grande. She was a smoke show. She was an absolute smoke show, and then all of a sudden she's gone proper weird, and it's the same story with loads of them. Let me pull up a story. Let's. I don't know if we can circle back into so I wasn't aware. Maybe I should have done, if I looked for some videos on Scientology, maybe I would have found it would have made more sense, but I'm pretty ignorant on it. So
type in Clear Lake. When you do your research on that, look for Clear Lake in Florida. It's incredible.
All right. Okay. I will. Let's have a look at what's going on here.
That's why motion picture stars are called movie stars, because in the Bible, stars were referred to as lesser illuminaries. So these lesser illuminaries are working for the big Illuminati. So the big Illuminati are using the lesser Illuminati. The lesser illuminaries are just stars.
Am I the only one, or has anyone else thought of why would the astronauts have their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Why are they actors?
Let's look at the photo. You say that's me? Okay, check out the name badge. It says Aldrin. Looks like you're right. But notice the helmet. Can you see my face? No.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary.
Hang about. I didn't realize this is more about fake moon landings than it is about Hollywood. Sorry. Interesting concept though. Why are the astronauts on there? Let me get this one up. What's this one?
The thing with Hollywood is, man, it's the land that you come to make dreams come true. If you're not coming with an idea to the land, ain't nothing coming true.
Can someone come to Hollywood and not do drugs?
Yeah.
And be successful?
Oh, hell yeah.
Just making sure.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Just making sure.
Hell yeah.
It's not a requirement.
Bro, the requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
Nigga, you can take the bitch, but he wants you. He ain't worried about that bitch. he is not worried about that bitch at all. Okay, he ain't worried about your bitch.
Well, this enters us. Pardon the pause. It enters us into the category of control, right? And there's a lot of videos. I mean, I literally there's only about 80 or whatever that I can put into the StreamYard at one time, but I've got like hundreds others that are talking about this notion. It's a hip hop thing. It's a music thing where they say, "You wanna be big." Well, first of all, we'll let you blow up a little bit, right? We'll let you blow up to $50,000 a show, $20,000, whatever, and then they show you the good time, they show you the high life, and then they suddenly go, right, you enjoying yourself, yeah? Okay, cool. You want this to continue? Okay, cool. Well, you've got 3 options, right? Door on the left is Satan worship stuff, right? Which is what Bad Boy Records, not Bad Boy Records, that was Diddy's one. It was Good Girl Gone Bad, Rihanna, right? Under Jay-Z. They're into that weird stuff. They're into the Satan worship stuff, right? The devil worshipping thing, the selling your soul. If you don't want to do that, then we'll just compromise you. We want to, you know, you're a sort of tough black guy. No gay rappers, right? None of that stuff. You can't be ashamed to be being like that. but you're going to do that behind the scene, and we'll record you, sort of Epstein style, compromise, that sort of thing, you know. And if that's not your thing either, well, okay, you can choose door number 3, which is you just carry on as you were, but you won't have our support anymore. And good luck if you want to make it, if you want to go platinum again. And there's loads and loads and loads of rappers that were big for a second and then they failed off, and they said, I chose door number 3, I never went platinum again. Yeah. And I think the gay thing, whether it's like, I think it's just about power, right? I think a lot of these people, it's not like they're not gay. Like the people that are doing it aren't necessarily gay either. I think it's just any hole's a goal kind of thing, just to manipulate the people and just to have power over somebody else, right? It's like there's like morals go out of the window with some of these people. These psychopaths, like there's no right or wrong. The only right or wrong that comes into their mind, especially in business, is more around, was it the right strategic decision to do what we did, not whether or not it was a right thing. Did I fuck over anybody else in the process? And I think it's the same, just in a variety of different ways. I think that these, whether it's gay, whether it's like Satanism, whatever else, I think it's all about power over other people and having something over someone. And I think that I've got so many videos that can back up that point.
Yeah, like domineering. I think a lot of these, like especially the famous rappers from the sort of 80s, 90s, like I think Eugene brought one up in one of the previous shows, like Tupac and stuff. But Busta Rhymes, for example, these guys have women just laying down at their feet. You know, when you get a big hard guy that's got an ego and a chip on his shoulder, he's a little bit more difficult to conquer. You know, maybe it's more just an ego thing where they think, yeah, let me try and achieve that as opposed to something that's just handed to me. You know, but I don't know. There's a lot of it going on for my liking, to be honest.
There's a theory in there that a lot of them were in prisons and they were told what to do. They were taken under the wings of the management companies, the producers, and so on, and told what to do, told what to rap about, to get into society, young people's minds. Because rap, well, they did used to call it hip hop, didn't they? Originally, it was quite light-hearted, wasn't it? It wasn't so heavy as it is now, and now it's about like money and killing and it's pretty dark. So that's one of the theories, isn't it, that they were approached, a lot of these guys in the rap business now that we know, like Dre, Tupac, and so on, and Notorious B.I.G. They were approached in prison and told what they could have if they toe the line. It's one of the theories about
it. It's a combination of things. But I mean, to your point, Sean, this whole thing, it's not about being gay or about sex per se. It's control. And that's just humans forever. Whoever's in power is gonna take advantage of everybody else.
Why choose that though?
Human nature.
Why choose that, right? If you're not, if you're just someone, if you're Diddy, or if you're Jay-Z, or whoever else, right? Or if you're like I don't know, Harvey Weinstein, right? And you got the casting couch thing going on. If it's not about sex, if it's not about their own specific demons that are inside them that want, to get themselves off, whatever. There's other ways that you can manipulate people into power and control.
But it's the feeling of it, right? And with Diddy, he wasn't. I mean, he had, I forgot who. He had a mentor. He was, I think, from Sony, but he was somebody up high who mentored Diddy. And the thing is, like, people talk about, like, he did to him what Diddy then was doing to everybody else, right? It's the form of control, of grooming, saying that, okay, if you want something, I'm going to control you, so that if it means signing with a record label and you want to leave, I have dirt on you and you cannot leave. Or like,
but why do it? What, like, if I'm that sort of geezer, right? There's no way that I want to have control over you, Eugene, to the point where I can get myself to a position where I want you, like, I'm going to be interested in you doing something sexual to me, or me doing something sexual to you. Like, there's something else that's going on than just power, because I just don't look at you that way, Brody. You know, I don't. As much as you're a good-looking boy, and don't worry, I've got the clip, I've got the picture of you and Eminem looking incredibly similar, and we're going to show that a bit later on in the show, right? Don't worry about that, okay? But there is something like I just don't look at you that way, you know. So like I don't know how I could even get myself up for that kind of moment, if that makes sense.
Sean, like all the cults in the history of the universe, like at the very end, the main guy has sex with everybody, right? That's just the way it is. That's human nature. Whether it's a straight guy or a gay guy, like every cult ends up, the guy has sex with like all the wives of all the men and the men themselves. So there's something primal about power and sex and just domination and saying I'm the alpha and I'm gonna take like the most, I don't know, right, like precious of what you have. It's like it's your, like I'm gonna take your,
Yeah, it's the
like
and I think it's also the humiliation and stuff. So I know on the P. Diddy documentary as well, they spoke about you know, these young people that he used to get to work at these sex parties he used to have and whatever. And I mean, this was a guy, and he would say, you know, Diddy would want, you know, X amount of drugs and stuff like laid out on a tray, and he would have to take it into these room where, you know, there was other men and other, like, you know, women and whatever. But then as soon as he walked in, would put the tray down, like Diddy would do something to him to humiliate him. Like he would make him get naked, or, you know, tell him to bend over and do stuff to him, like in front of other people. So it's also that like humiliation power thing that kind of happens, because yeah, you're right, it's weird that people
you
are
don't think the people that are doing that are gay then? So you don't think Diddy's bisexual at least?
See, I don't know, but then so many people would be. This is where, like, my mom. I mean, to be fair, if you've also watched Charlie Sheen's documentary, I mean, he speaks about it. I mean, he's not bisexual, but he talks about he's had sex with men, and that's how he's HIV positive now. Like, I don't think they are
Really?
bisexual.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. But also I think there's something also else going on with the sort of control in the celebrities. And I mean, I don't know the answers, but I do find it extremely fascinating. I mean, if you look at the downfall of, I mean, yeah, you mentioned Ariana Grande. I mean, yeah, shame. So I actually did send a video in the group chat about her talking about this memory erasing and all of that type of stuff. And I had another video as well about her when she's doing an interview and she slips into a different, like her original accent. But also like Kanye West and Britney Spears, like, you know, we all look at these people and think that they're absolutely mental, but something, you know, and they talk about, you know, well, specifically with Kanye and Britney as well, that it's all down to that personal trainer that's quite big in Hollywood, which is that Harvey whoever, and how they would send them to these institutions and they would drug them up so much that they literally become zombies and they lose it. And that's why they become as delally as they are, because, you know, I mean, even like with Britney, she's been out of the game now for, I say out of the game, but I mean, she's not performed or, you know, created music and all of that for such a long time. But when you look at her Instagram stuff that she's posting, like, she looks out of it all the time. Like something is just not right with some of the, you know, and it's sad because, you know, we look at them and just think they've gone delally, but I think there's deeper things that are happening with some of these celebrities. And
with them it's all different, I think, because if you like with Britney or Ariana Grande, like if you look at most child celebrities who were very successful, they're all fucked up. Just first of all, like you cannot have that level of fame when you're 15, 16. So not only your parents are taking advantage of you and are pimping you out to get all this money and like for your fame, it's just when the world is at your feet when you're 15 years old, it's definitely not healthy. So they're
but not
definitely
everyone's
all
fucked
messed
up, right?
up. Huh?
If ever like Britney Spears is fucked up beyond repair, but Justin Timberlake seems fine, and they were both in the Disney Club together. You know,
it just depends on. I mean, we don't know if he's like if he's okay or not, but I mean, obviously, it also depends. I just know there are like number of stories, like a lot of those child celebrities.
A lot of them are like that. Which is, by the way, for those of you that are watching, there's nearly 100 people here. Love to see it. I'm going to be putting out some videos, right? So I don't know if I showed you guys this last time. I asked ChatGPT or Grok to list me the 200 most like extreme to mild or extreme to fringe or whatever conspiracy theories. I extrapolated it out because I got bored. I said, give me 1,000. So I've got a list of 1,000. Well, I've got a list of 1,000 different conspiracies, and I'm going to make a video on each one of them. And I've got one. I've been building one for the last few days on MK Ultra. And MK Ultra is weird enough. It's super weird, right? So I'm going to be doing an MK Ultra. You'll get an upload to see guys in the next couple of days about MK Ultra. But MK Monarch, I don't know. Are you guys aware? You guys, John, Nikos, you probably are. Eugene and Susie, are you aware of MK Monarch?
Mm-mm.
John, are you aware of MK Monarch?
Yeah, the butterfly symbology.
Butterfly symbology, Disney. It's essentially the extension of MK Ultra. MK Ultra started in the post-war environment where they turned around in the Cold War. People came home from the Korean War into America, and they were sprouting propaganda, right? Basically communist propaganda. And the CIA turned around and were like, oh shit, Russia and Korea and China, whatever else, they've warped these people's minds, right? They've got mind control shit down. We better catch up. So they started the MK Ultra program, and it started with like $20 million of funding, which back then was like the equivalent of hundreds of millions today. And they went into like prisons and orphanages and a bunch of other sort of basically vulnerable people, and put them under LSD mind control and like expose them to the most horrific stuff. Anyway, so I'll do a video about that stuff. We'll talk about it later. But MK Monarch, John, Nikos, if you guys know, if you're familiar, was more aimed towards sexual bribery and children being used to get into powerful people. Basically, they would take children that were preteen a lot of the time, and then do the same sort of shit, do the same sort of all of the lessons that they learned from MK Ultra. They were putting it on these kids, and then using those kids in the most wicked ways to then put them into some sort of horrendous bribery situations for powerful people.
I mean, it's been going on forever. Epstein didn't invent it. Sorry, Nikos, go ahead.
It was an offshoot of MK Ultra, but it was based around trauma-based mind control. Whereas the original MK Ultra program was based around drug inducing. So the MK Monarch was more about trauma, and it was just an extension of the original program.
Yeah, I think they thought that when young children are introduced to trauma, when they're traumatized, that opens up like special abilities in them, like telepathy and all that kind of stuff. So they exposed them to they made them watch like crazy decapitation, whatever, horror movies and some crazy stuff. And the theory was, if there's trauma, there are a few gifted kids whose special abilities might be opened up through trauma.
The MK Ultra program wasn't predominantly based on trauma. It was about out-of-body experience. Like I said, it was more of a drug-induced program, which was LSD was the predominant factor. But what they realized is that they didn't need to use the drugs. So MK Monarch was to trigger that same sort of type of feeling without the drugs. And they found trauma was the right way to do it. And this is why they use children. So Nickelodeon is quite predominant for being one of the main beneficiaries of that actual first programs.
Oh, I've got to do so. Do you remember Nickelodeon? Do you remember when you were? I don't know how old everyone is. I'm 41. I remember sort of in the 90s watching Nickelodeon, and I never had any idea at the time. But first of all, in the opening credits to their, as they went into their programs, they would have there was the picture of the eye in the pyramid in their opening credits. There was also a weird thing with some man, probably about my age or whatever, in his 30s or 40s, that was dancing behind some young girl that was sort of bent over the Nickelodeon sign or something. It was proper, it was all in your face. You just didn't realize it back then.
Yeah, they've removed a lot of it now. Actually, they've scrubbed a lot of the internet for all that stuff.
Yeah, I was looking for it to bring it up on the channel. I can't find it anywhere.
That was that guy's name. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, did you watch the documentary on Nickelodeon and all the child stars that spoke about what happened behind the scenes and also, sorry, and all the inappropriate things that they were made to do even on shows, but as kids, they didn't realize, and also us as viewers when we were kids didn't realize actually how naughty and some of the stuff was.
Yeah,
90s were a wild time.
Dan Snyder or whatever his name was. I think we spoke about him on the previous
Yeah,
shows. He was one of the
Dan
dominant
Snyder,
people.
raging PDF file. You can still see to this day the videos of him, like he got into bed with. He got into a jacuzzi with Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, she's also gone off the rails.
She's gone wildly off the rails now, and she's got blue tattooed eyebrows on. She's got
tattoos all over her face.
Yeah, she's completely messed up. But back in the day when she was probably, I don't know, 12 or 13, and she was the Amanda Bynes show, she had to do a video in a jacuzzi with him. And he was the producer, the director, the writer, all this stuff. And then he was also the guy that was taking like footage of what's her name? Ariana Grande, like putting her foot in her mouth and like pretending to. It basically representing, all sorts of obviously sexual stuff, and she was like, yeah, it's weird. But to be fair, not to be fair, maybe even more sympathetically, she was recently said like she loved him, like she always praises him to this day when she wins awards and things. But that geezer's a raging PDF file. He doesn't belong. He belongs in prison.
Mate, it's just that they're taught to do this. These are like media trained, like Harvey Weinstein, like the years before he was arrested, you could see him walking down the red carpet with the most famous female people in the world, mate. And there was always like, oh, who do you want to party with tonight? And they're all like, Harvey Weinstein, like they're just trained to be like that, I don't know if it's something they're like blackmailed into doing or whether they just know that's in their better interest to say something like that. But
he made stars, that's why. And so like all those women who sued him later, again, I'm not saying obviously he's a creep, but they knew what they were doing and they took advantage to get big roles. Like there was a story about Gwyneth Paltrow that Brad Pitt got into a fight with him almost because he was trying to. So she said no to him, but many other stars, female stars, just wanted to get those roles, and they're like, "Yep, we're down for whatever." So
women do that for less money, mate. In most walks of life, even in just finance and stuff like that, women do that kind of stuff just to get up the ladder, mate. It's not just
and men too, obviously, right? With Diddy, all the rappers too. It's like not just women, just men. Anybody.
Yeah,
if you want to go platinum and do this, a lot will be like, "Yep, I'm down. I'll do it."
Yeah. This is how they get you. They compromise you that way, But yeah, Harvey Weinstein, that was one of the worst ones.
I think I've got a video here about this.
Been done for centuries and millennia. Whatever Epstein was doing with the blackmail and with the kid, the underage girls, it's been done forever. He wasn't the first one, and he's not going to be the last one. That's just the way to control people.
I think I've got something here on Disney. I think I'm not sure. Let me have a look.
In one of his episodes where he's making Swiss cheese, and basically what he's doing is there's a conveyor belt and he's taking each one of these blocks of cheese and he's putting it up to his area 1 and poking a hole through the cheese with it.
The sex that's in PG-13 movies, every Disney movie. Under MK Ultra, they experimented on children. We were even taught this in psychophysiology program that if you get to a child between ages 1 and 6 or 1 or 8, especially with sexual abuse or sexual trauma, you will split their personality and they will be imprinted the rest of their life. And many times that results in split personalities and disassociative behavior and other things.
These occult topics are being introduced to our kids, and most parents aren't even aware of it.
Using these dead relatives, which we know are demons, the relatives attempt to exorcise the panda, which they call a spirit, using an occult circle with a panda spirit inside. The movie attempts to show that this ritual opens up what the occult says is her third eye, to bring her into a trance that allows her to communicate with the ancestors, which we know are the demonic spirits. What she ultimately decides that she wants to keep the spirit inside of her,
of violence. There's a lot of language. There's obviously themes that are theological in nature surrounding Satan and evil outside of the occultic theme.
This occult type material took place in the late 60s and the early 70s with movies like The Exorcist, Amityville Horror, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Rosemary's Baby. This same time period parallels the rise of the Church of Satan in Los Angeles, and it was founded by a guy named Anton LaVey. When I was a police officer, we had cases of satanic cults right in Arlington, Virginia. They're in the government and they're in Hollywood. People like Sammy Davis and that kind of shit. Sammy told me he worshiped the devil. You know, Satan is as powerful as God. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He says, why do you think there's so much anger in the world and killing and murder and this darkness? The candles on the table and Sammy's face over the candle. You know, Satan is as powerful as God.
From our point of view, it really makes no difference whether you pray to a father god or to a mother goddess or to an entire gaggle of gods and goddesses.
Michael Aquino was a high-level officer in the National Security Agency. He was and is, you'll see him today, a practicing Satanist. He created the Satanic Temple of Set, which he still runs. He was a high-level NSA officer. He's a member of the association I used to be in, the Association of Former Intelligence Officers, AFIO. He's a member of that. He's plugged in big time to the intelligence community, and he wrote a paper called Mind War. And Mind War was about psychological operations against populations, including the domestic population, using Satanist techniques and tools.
In one of his episodes.
First of all, I know we're doing exactly the same thing as that geezer in the video, but it's really annoying that I have to watch a video this big on the screen and it's 3/4 of the screen is him just sitting there going... We can do that without you, bro. In fact, I'd prefer it, but I know we're doing the same thing here. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, right? Satanism is everywhere, you know? Susie, what are we saying?
No. I've seen all of this stuff with the all of these animation movies, and I've watched it back because some stuff you do think, oh, they actually made this up, but when you go back and watch, it is actually there. So yeah, I definitely believe in this whole subliminal messaging and, you know, targeting you from a very young age. Very sad, but it happens. I don't think it's a conspiracy, though. I mean, it's facts. It happens. I don't think there's, you know, it's just whether people are aware of it or not. Because a lot of us will just let, you know, as kids, we just watch it. And you as parents, it's the same with YouTube now. You know, all kids have tablets and stuff, and there's so much bad things on YouTube.
Do you let your kids, Susie, watch things unattended?
So no. So I mean, they do sometimes have their tablets unattended, but I mean, I've got really, I say, strict criteria on YouTube that they're not allowed to watch. But I mean, they're still too small to really delve deep into things, like, you know, to search. They can't like type and search things for themselves, basically.
But wasn't there? I don't know if you guys know this, John or Nikos or maybe Eugene. Wasn't there this expose? And it never reached the mainstream because nothing ever does. But like that, there was paedophilic coding being used in the comments on like certain videos on YouTube. Like if and it was obviously videos that were meant for children or at least teenagers or whatever else. But there was, I'm sure I read on Reddit or something that it was that a lot of the comment section was just filled with accounts that were corresponding with each other in ways that had been uncovered as being basically pedophiles working on YouTube, essentially.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, it's big business for them. My son, he's like 5, and he has the YouTube Kids application on the phone, and obviously a lot of it's in Spanish. So I try to listen into everything he does, mate. But there's no way in a million years I'm letting him anywhere near comment sections, and you know, I prefer to actually watch things with him on the TV so I can scrutinize it. And if I see something I don't like, I just turn it off. Like, you know, this is why again.
Well, start by taking out that fucking picture behind you, mate, because that's the circle of the paedophiles on that fucking Peter.
No, I changed it so that you can see there's 4 6s and it represents a spiral. But the one you keep talking about every single show has got at least 3 rings. I'll send you. There's pictures. I was going to send you a picture from the parks here in Barcelona, but there's like that symbol is like plastered all over kids' parks here.
Really?
But,
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Right. So it's
yeah,
everywhere.
it's big business, mate. It's big business. But yeah, they try and get the kids as early as they can, however they can. But you've got to be really careful, and you can't leave them unattended with social media, with any kind of like applications on phones, mate. You've got to be so careful. You know, like subconsciously they're getting programmed from every single angle, and it's easier now for them to reach the kids.
Mm.
You know, than it was when we were kids. You know, like it was harder for them to sort of target us. But it's so easy for them now. You've got to be so careful.
These agendas are crazy. Like a story again, it's a little maybe different, but I remember a year ago I took my son to watch a kids movie, or it was a cartoon, right? He was what, 8.5, and you know how the movie theaters, they have commercials or ads before the feature, and there was an ad about some like trans like gay thing, like, and again, like I have nothing against anybody, do whatever you do, but when it's a movie or a cartoon for like 7, 8 year olds and you're pushing that, that leads to like I had to actually have some uncomfortable conversations to explain what it was, which what to me was crazy. Again, nothing against anybody, but when this is being pushed to children, not even that, just in general, whatever the agenda is, whatever, like it, to me, it's mad, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You gotta be very careful.
Perchi asked me there, where in Barcelona do I live? I live up by Parkwell, up in Gracia. I remember he was doing a live stream, I think last year with, I think it was like the one of the cup semi-finals in I can't remember which sport they were playing. I think it was in Bodo. I think he was doing a live stream or in real life, and then I accidentally doxed him when he was like in Pau de Palau in like Barcelona. And he was like, give it like all the large ones. And I was like, in the comment section, like Pau de Palau. And he was like, oh my God, you know who I am? But no, I've lived in Barcelona. For like 15
Be careful, Perchy. Be careful, mate. There's always someone very close to you, buddy. I'm surprised, mate. This Perchy boy, you're in the chat tonight. I guess you're not watching third division Lithuanian football, right?
Never gonna get old. Never get
Yeah,
old.
you've been outed, mate. You've been outed. The missus has outed you 100%, bro. It's never gonna get old. I used to live in St. Pau, but I spent most of my time down the around the kind of the youth football training camps. Hey, Perchy, we know you're full of shit, Perchy. We figured you out, my man. We figured you out. Bolivian football tonight. Bolivian football. John, let me ask you this, mate. Let me ask you this: are you? Do you have children, John?
No.
No. Okay. Have you seen this? Have you seen the Roblox story? People were mentioning it in the comments. Roblox is also like rife with I don't know if it's games or lands or how I've never played the game, how it works, but it's also something that's been infiltrated by the bad people.
The same thing I said about Eric Dubay. Sorry, John, just quickly. Same thing I said.
Go on.
I was just saying very quickly, the same thing I said about Eric Dubay. How about the guy that he promoted is targeting children to give them kind of information like truth? People have done the same thing with targeting them for these sinister ways as well. There's quite a grand concept about, okay, this is a new audience. We can get these guys young, but Roblox has been quite a scandal in the last 2 years. Horrible.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
No, it's cool. Have you looked up Anton LaVey and his wife, Zena LaVey? Apparently, Taylor Swift is their daughter.
Hang on.
And she is the image of Zena LaVey.
Anton LaVey, Taylor Swift. Surely that will show me something.
I think if you type in Church of Satan.
Oh, hang on a second. No, yeah, she looks a little bit like, she does look a lot like it. Hang on. Let's bring it up on the screen. I love John. He's always bringing up, he's always making me go multimedia with this shit. Love it.
Oh, sure.
I'm waiting for the bird section.
Sean gets in trouble when he says birds.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I get told off. I get told off in the comment section. I mean, unbelievable, right? Like it's undeniable that those two look
very similar.
Just a little bit similar. The eyes are the giveaway, and the lips for me. In fact, I think I've got a video on clones. Right, I was watching some video earlier about the fact that they were saying that that the people that have already sold their soul, right? They've already sold it. How do I get this away from? How do I get this away from the? That's weird. It's like it's
It's
saying
stuck
that.
on
There we
your
go. Bang. Here we go. But they were saying that this video was suggesting that the people that have already sold their soul, that part of the deal is that they basically live for eternity, and so they can't escape, and they don't want anyone else to either, basically. But then I saw this video with the I think I've called it Hollywood clones. Just have a look at the video.
I would watch Millie Bobby Brown and I'd say, I know her. Why does she look so familiar to me? And then one day I figured it out. Elizabeth Perkins, especially from Big. They look exactly alike. This is what I was thinking in my head. I thought I knew Millie Bobby Brown because of Elizabeth Perkins. Turns out they are not related in the slightest. That is wild. Okay, so I see a photo from Rob Lowe from St. Elmo's Fire. And then I see a photo of Dacker Montgomery, who plays Billy from Stranger Things. They look exactly the same. It makes you wonder if they structured Billy's Stranger Things character to be just like him from St.
Oh shit, that was a short one as well. There was loads of others. There was fucking hundreds of the bastards. There were so many of them. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, clones. Like there's literally never-ending amounts of celebrities that have got absolute doppelgangers. Right? Have you seen them before, guys?
Yeah, there's so many. I think the most famous ones are like John Travolta. There's a good one. Nicolas Cage is a good one. Like 1800 or something.
They actually say that Diddy in jail is not a real Diddy in jail.
No, the face is really different. Well, he's not in jail anymore anyway, is he? So, and Eugene and Eminem, there's clones there.
There's 4 years, no? 4 years, I think I gave him. But yeah, the guy who's in jail as Diddy has not got the moles that he had before he went in, which is kind of a bit of a weird.
I thought he was out. Is he not out completely?
No, they sentenced him. I think about three weeks ago, and it was like 4 or 5 years, and he served 8 months already, so he'll be out in a couple of years.
He'll be out next week.
How do I search this? Is it if I search Diddy clone in jail? Would that work?
Oh, let me send it to you, Sean. I've got it.
I mean, the living forever.
I agree with Susan on that one. Looks like a different guy.
Is this the one? It's going to be difficult to bring it up on the screen, Susie, if you send it to WhatsApp, because I can't get this stuff to my phone. But let me have a look. I mean, is this the one we're talking about?
I've just sent it to you now.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can bring it up on the screen though. So I'm not sure I can get it up on the screen, to be honest. What you sent to me? Let's have a look. In the meantime, is this who you're talking about, guys? Is this the two people?
Yeah, but basically, yeah.
Weird.
So the guy on the right is Diddy, or the guy on the left is Diddy?
Guy on the right.
The guy on the right
is Diddy, or the
is
guy
Diddy, and the left one is who they're claiming is Diddy. That is not Diddy.
Oh, no mole.
Wasn't there a similar thing with Jamie Foxx, where apparently he said he was ill?
It was poisoned, apparently, wasn't he? He was given. Didn't Jamie Foxx suggest that Diddy poisoned him, tried to kill him?
I don't know. Did he? Did he?
Very good. Very good, John. Did he not?
I don't know. Did he?
There always seems to be a period where these people get changed over. They disappear from the limelight for a little period of time.
Is that a conspiracy, right? Is that a conspiracy, or did he just go? Like, basically, he's been given bail before he goes to prison for 4 years, and then he just goes and says to someone, "Go and find me someone who looks a hell of a fucking lot like me, and there'll be someone somewhere, and pay that geezer a couple of million quid, whatever, and then tell him to go in prison for 4 years."
Yeah, like the Devil's Double film.
No, because there is
not that hard to imagine, right?
But there is a conspiracy around Diddy. Something about even the day that he was arrested and how all the feds were around his house, and at that exact time, something else was actually happening that like nobody's attention was on that because everyone was looking at what was happening with Diddy. Hold on, let me find what it was quickly.
If you're on a computer, if any of you are on a computer and you want to share something on the screen, just go to the bottom of your StreamYard and there's a computer with a plus, and then just share your own screen.
You told me that, Sean. You've had it.
Yeah,
now.
you do it that way, and then it will offer me the option to bring it up. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
You shouldn't have told me that, Sean. I'm going to be all over that.
No, it's fine. As long as, John, as long as your videos are not 9 minutes long, and
no, they're longer than And they've got
What we
me in
doing
the bottom corner, like my face like that, like the old TikTok videos. And I'm just going like that.
All right. Whilst has anyone sent me anything? No one sent me anything yet. Whilst we're waiting, let me get another video up. Let's see what this one does.
And then you look at Hollywood. How many Holly weirdos have transgender kids? Transgender should be like 1 out of a million, but in Hollywood it's like 1 out of 3. And if your kid, and even when they adopt the kid, somehow the kid turns trans. So even when the kid doesn't even have your DNA and it's from China or Africa, all of a sudden it becomes trans.
That's definitely something like the LGBTQ, or at least the TQ thing that is the TQ plus, right? There's something about that because even I've got gay friends. I know people that are gay and that are lesbian and that are queer or not queer. The LGBT bit of it, like the lesbian, gay, or bi bit, and they get pissed off that the other bits are attached. Because they're like, no,
yeah, that's been a social craze.
We're just gay, and these people have got like, again, allegedly, or not my personal opinion, just referencing. These people are like into something that doesn't represent us, and we've all got smushed together to make the number of people that are in that category far higher. But the people on the far end of that extreme, like, and how many fucking letters can you add before it starts to get really
HDMI.
HDMI,
LGBTQ, HDMI.
Yeah,
comes in plus.
But I say theory, but my view on is not only about Hollywood. I just think it's society in general. I personally think there's a massive craze that's happening, and it's kind of become quite trendy that everybody is into. You know, when you look at back in sort of the 70s, 80s, how many people were gay and bi and all of this type of stuff compared to how many people now believe, and so many children believe that they're in the wrong bodies. Like, I just don't think that could be coincidental all of a sudden. Like, that is a societal thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And I also think it's, you know, parents, and it's parents, schools, it's everybody, where we try and be inclusive and teach, you know, little boys or little girls. They're too small to understand that we are opening their minds to say, well, if you feel like you should wear a dress, then, you know, you should do that if that's what you feel. But they don't know otherwise. So they will just absorb any information that's given to them.
But that's the one part of it.
Why there's a rise on all of this stuff.
It's one thing to say, like, don't be if you want to wear a dress. I remember when I was about 4 years old. I remember walking around in my mum's high heels. I remember it.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be a girl, but if someone took that, if my parents took that experience and then went, you want to be a girl,
yeah,
let's endorse that. Let's jump on board it. God knows what would have happened. What I would also say is, it's one thing to, like, you know, to let kids experiment and be open-minded. It's another thing to, like, change the curriculum. This is where I think the Satanism thing comes in, or like the weird shit comes in. It's when it's happening in the UK schools, but not to the same extent as it's happening in the American schools. Eugene, unless you tell me I'm wrong here, but your kids are in school in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, in the area. But I disagree a bit on the gay stuff, because I think in the past there was a lot more like shame associated with it. And I think I think the issue is not even, I think the trans is definitely a trend. So I think a lot of kids who would otherwise be gay or lesbian, now they're being told, no, that's not good enough, that you're trans. So that's for sure. I agree 1000%. But as far as like being gay and lesbian, I think just more are coming out since there's less shame associated with it.
Yeah, and I do
been
agree
a thing
that
forever. Like, especially like gay, if you look at all the ancient cultures, all the men were
no, and I agree with that to a certain degree. However, there definitely is something, especially when you look at the young 20-year-olds who are very open sexually to explore, you know, girls want to explore other girls. Like, we didn't have that growing up. I wasn't interested to see, oh, what would an experience be like with a girl? That's become a very trendy thing to do. It's not about actually deep inside, I prefer to be with a girl versus a boy, as an example. Like, I definitely think there are societal manipulations and things happening or influence that does happen to kind of that there is also a massive jump in numbers in that sort of community.
And the books, right? Like the amount of books. Again, Eugene, big up, Danny. Big up to see. Good to see you, mate. Danny, Eugene, I just wanted to ask you: Do you know? Because I see all this content on YouTube, and I see this content. My algorithm's obviously like trying to piss me off. But like, do you are you aware? Like, do you follow what your kids are taught? Because I see so many people that are like furious parents that are in some local council meeting in some random place in America, wherever, and they're going, why the fuck? And they're reading excerpts out of books that are in the school library that are part of the curriculum that are teaching kids how to give blowjobs or whatever else. And I'm like that would never have flown in the school that I went to. I went to a Catholic school, and don't get me wrong, the Catholic Church is fucked up. But for what it's worth, the head priest of my school, after I left, a long time after I left, the guy called Father Adrian, he was locked up for having like child porn all over his computer and stuff. Like, I went to a school that was, it never affected me. I don't think it did anyway, but like it was a fucked up place. But there was never any books that you were forced to read that was teaching kids how to get on board that shit. But it seems like it's fairly common, or at least it's more common in American schools. Is that fair?
I mean, in some, it depends on the area. Like for me, like I moved from the super like liberal area to more conservative area for like, not because of that, but for many reasons, COVID and this and that. But and I still check my son's curriculum, but here people are more, again, conservative. But yeah, in some areas, some liberal areas, it's definitely, there's been a lot of cases where parents complain and then they go to school. Like there are a few famous examples, the one that you're mentioning right now about library books. And then there's this whole thing about, free speech versus this, that. Yeah, it's crazy. But I think, honestly, the pendulum is swinging back a little bit. Like 5 years ago, it was crazy. Now I think the pendulum is swinging the other way. So I think
only because the Republicans are currently in charge, right?
And
the Republicans are probably going to get absolutely brutalized at the midterms, and then it's going to fucking pivot back that way again.
But the reason why the Republicans are in charge in the first place is because the cultural issues, right? It's not even about the economy, anything else. It's cultural. Even when they're going to lose, the midterms and even the presidency, the cultural, like the pendulum is shifting culturally here big time, regardless of who's in power. So I think it's not going to be as bad as it was 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Well, welcome to Danny, but it's another string to their depopulation program. If they can confuse these kids at young ages, as they grow older, they're less likely to have biological children. So we've already established over the last few shows that there is a depopulation program that's happening. This is just one facet of that for them. Like my son goes to a school that's very traditional and very religious, and I look over all of his work and everything else, but he goes to a linguistic school where they advertise on their website that they're LGBTQ friendly. And I had a sit down meeting with the teacher, like she's from Oxford University, like last week. And I just said to her, like, anything like that that's promoted here, I will take him out in an instant. Like, you've got to be very, very strict with the children. And some of these, like, take it back to the original point, some of these celebrities are quite happy to subliminally, consciously, subconsciously program other people's children. Like famous people like J-Lo, her daughters are perceived as men. Angelina Jolie, same thing. Her sons are perceived as
her daughter's a boy.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't keep up with it, but it's just so degenerate. That's the way to think of it. It's just another way of them stopping and encouraging further generations of not having.
Do you know? I think Nikos, right, to add to this, because this is one of the things I wanted to come on and speak about. Like there's so much propaganda. There's so much like the media forcing like a narrative, right? And it's kind of what you guys have talked about in previous shows before about potential governments wanting to depopulize the world and stuff like this. It kind of reminds me of that film Children of Men I think it's Clive Owen in it, where there's like it's about infertility and no one on the planet can have kids anymore, and then there's one woman has a kid, and then the world goes kind of nuts about it, and they've got to try and like save this woman because obviously whatever. But it's like you see it now more and more and more, right? Where it's more now. I have nothing against people who are trans, who are gay, bisexual, whatever. People can choose to do what they want to do with their life, right? But what I don't like is the fact that they're pushing it through the media to kids who are underage who can't make their own decision. And what that's doing, in my opinion, is it's making kids. I think it's putting that kind of into their subconscious thinking, right? And it's making them, and that's why you're seeing more and more and more and more people coming out like as or either non-binary or I don't know, or they identify as something, right, or as an animal or something like this, and it's getting beyond crazy. And I think social media has a massive impact on it, and I think that's, for me personally, I feel like it's like a weird like status symbol for the celebrities now, for their kids. Like, I don't know whether it's because of the life that they've grown up in or whatever it is, being in the public eye a lot. It's like that it's becoming more and more and more normal. So it's like you can see the list of how many celebrities have got trans or non-binary kids. It's nuts. Like 30 years ago, you never would have seen anything like it, right?
But you know what, Danny? There's an incentive structure even for the kids, right? If you grow up and your parents are famous, the only way in their minds they can separate themselves is to be special, just like in school, right? Kids want to feel special. So if somebody is out of place and being bullied, if they say, "Oh, now I'm trans," now they get all sorts of attention and all sorts of like respect. So even for kids, their incentive structure is built in.
It's true. No, I agree, and I think it's becoming more and more like that. And I think what I just don't like is it's like they're not giving children a chance to choose who they are, what they want to be. It's like they're forcing this kind of narrative on people, on young kids. And like you can, and I tell you why you can see this, right? If you go on now, I don't watch it, but I've looked at like research on it, like Nickelodeon and Disney as well. I mean, I know Disney's a whole nother picture, right? But if you look at some of the things that more and more, right? Like before, they never used to like having cartoons or things or young people kissing. Now you get you there's programs now where they've got two gay fathers, they've got two women kissing in it.
Have you seen Coronation Street, Danny?
No, I haven't seen. What's
Mate, Coronation Street, like one of like, if you guys, people that are, there's 115 people that are watching this. By the way, smash the fucking like.
Yeah, smash the like. This is the best show on YouTube. Best show
we love it. We love this channel. We love this channel. But Coronation Street, like EastEnders and Coronation Street, all the way through my youth. Monday and Monday was Coronation and EastEnders. Then it was Tuesday EastEnders, Wednesday Coronation Street. Coronation Street used to have like 100 characters and 2 of them are gay. Now they're down to like 25 characters because of budget cuts, and like 16 of them are gay.
This is what I'm saying. It's like it's not what they're. It's like they're. It's like it's not that it's.
I'm not sure if that's the agenda or whether
it's not
the
okay,
writer
right?
of that particular show happens to just be gay and then thinks that his worldview should be represented more than like. It doesn't have to be a conspiracy, but I totally agree with you, Danny. That like, there is every time you look at an advert on TV now, it's not the traditional family that represents the traditional country in which the advert is being played.
Sean,
it is.
This
it's
is
like
my whole point about
everything, isn't it?
This is my whole point about why you're going to see the more and more countries producing less babies, right? Because more and more people are becoming. Well, you could say bisexual, gay, whatever, or people also don't want marriages anymore. They don't want to have kids. More and more people being brought up in a society where do you know how many people I speak to now and say I literally don't want to bring up kids in this society.
I'm one of them, bro. I'm one of them. I would never have children. I would never have children.
Sean, 20 years ago, if you ask the same question, loads of people want kids. Nowadays, more people don't want kids than they do.
The only people that want to have kids these days are Muslims. I'm not saying that with any kind of. I'm not saying that with any kind of like. I'm not trying to be.
It's quite a.
I'm being real. I'm just being real, right? Like the population, the reproductive rates in every Western capital country are below 2.
Yeah.
In Korea, they're at levels that have never been recovered. In Japan, they're at levels that have never been recovered. In Australia, they're at levels that have never been recovered. In China, like, I mean, there's even a fucking conspiracy, by the way, on like number 432nd or whatever it was on the list of 1,000 conspiracies that I downloaded was the fact that there's a myth that China have over like 1.5 billion people. In reality, it's like 300 million or something. I've got no idea. I haven't looked into that one yet. I'll get to it. But like they obviously fucked themselves over with the one-child policy in the 80s, 90s, and noughties. But the only countries that have a reproductive rate that will allow their cultures to grow is Muslim. Is Islam.
It's not that. It's like I touched on it last time, right? It's not even just Muslims, or it's in the poor countries, like the child rates skyrocket. If you look at India, if you look at Africa, so it's not even about the religious. I mean, the religious.
It's education as well, right? On reproductive health and stuff.
But like we're touching, like Western countries, any country that's well off.
But Eugene, but if you talk,
Eugene.
Yeah, I was going to say, I get kind of what you're saying about Africa and education, and they don't. We're talking about these cultures escape their own countries, go to Western countries, and then they repopulate. So there is definitely a strategy that's happening here.
Yeah.
Why is it that these people don't go to their own other Muslim countries? They don't go to the United Arab Emirates. They go to all the Western countries, and then they start populating.
But that's an immigration
The reason
thing.
why, and I'll tell you the reason why they do that, and it is actually, if you go and research it, the reason why they do that, they infiltrate a society, breed like rabbits, and then they overtake society. And that's exactly what's happened in the UK.
I know right now, they're giving a financial incentive to do so as well. They're actually paid to do that in the UK.
Yeah, and the fucking tomorrow morning, the budget, by the way, not listen, I don't want this to become a fucking right wing thing at all. This is just facts. No, tomorrow in the budget, they're going to take away the two child cap benefit on child benefit. The only fucking people that are going to benefit from that
immigrants
are Muslims, because people that are Christian are not breeding. They're not breeding.
Also, Sean, right? If there's I was watching one of the guys who he's got his own podcast. There's two people that got a podcast, right? And one of them is Stephen Bartlett, and he had an interview with another guy who was one of the kind of I think he was one of the data analysts and programmers at Tinder and some other dating apps along the way, right? I think he was one of the guys who started it, and he was saying he's massive data driven by everything he does, right? It's all data driven. He goes, by 2050, the UK, the way it's going at the moment, more than 50% of the UK population will be Muslim.
No, it will be. It's already there. It's already a fait accompli. And I chose those words carefully because that's a French phrase. It's already happening in France. They are already at the point where the French, where Muslims in France will outrate or outpopulate.
The UK population are actually at a point now where they're given a choice. They either push back on this and fight, otherwise they get dominated. That's where they're at. And the French is a great example because they just laid down and accepted it, and look where they are.
This country, the UK is going to do the same, though.
UK will do the same. Well, I think we said them on the previous shows with example to the COVID vaccination program. People just did what they were told. And right now, as much as they disdain for it, they're just going to accept it.
Is this the point in the show where you told me that I've lost my soul because I had the vaccine? I'm dead behind the eyes.
You're misquoting me. I never, ever said that.
Yes, you did. No, you said yes. You said if you took the vaccine and if the vaccine was legit, then you're basically your soul is being killed. That's what you said.
I didn't say yours. I said the objective.
You gave me a 1 in 10 chance that I got the saline solution.
Well, mate, was that in the Dumb and Dumber movie? Remember so you're telling me there's a chance. That's where you are. So you're telling me there's a chance.
I've actually got the video. I've got a video for that on a different setting.
But no, you're 100% right. There's a massive problem right now, and they want a civil war. You know, by instigating what they're doing right now with all the changes they're making with immigration policy and financial policy for immigrants, the thing that you're talking about tomorrow, they're instigating. They want a civil war. They want the men in the UK to fight, but there's not enough of them that will do so. They'll lay down, they'll be dominated, and they'll be walked over and trampled on. That's exactly what we're going to be.
I can already see. I can already see this. This will be clipped up, right? Or this will be going whole. Like,
I'm waiting for the black cat clip. I'm waiting for the short for the black cat. You saw black cat last week? Yeah, I saw black cat.
Oh, the black cat. I
was waiting for that.
the black fucking cat and the Mars bar, the chocolate Mars bar.
Yeah.
40 years ago.
Listen, I don't really want to go down the path too much around the kind of cultural thing because it's listen, I'm saying it with the best intentions. Like I've always said from the get-go, I couldn't give a fuck what color you are, who you worship. I couldn't give a flying fuck. Just contribute to society, take less out than what you put in, and I got no problem who you are, who you want to fuck. I don't care if you're gay, you're lesbian. I don't care if your eyes go up, down, or straight. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care the color of your money. Just work. Just put in more than you take out, and I'm cool with you. But I can already tell, like the last 5 minutes has gone into a direction that might be problematic.
Sure. What if I identified as a dog?
Yeah. Win the dog.
By the way, if I get reincarnated, if Nikos's whole soul trap shit is real, I want to come back as a fucking dog because dogs have the best fucking lives. If you get it happen, they got the best. They sleep all day. Nothing I love more than a nap. I love a nap, and dogs have naps all day long.
I've got a great video.
What's to not like? Oh, Eugene is so careful. As soon as the conversation goes a little bit controversial, he turns his camera off and then he drops the fuck out.
Right. Let's get back to the juice.
Sean, you haven't got a soul though, apparently, so you can't come back.
Mate, actually, I've got a really interesting video. I've nearly sent it to the group chat 3 times this week, but I've refrained from doing so every single time. And I've like copied, pasted it, and then like pressed the little X in the corner to delete it. And it's to do with the purpose of the pyramids in Egypt in particular and all over the world.
Right,
but there's a theory that the pyramids are actually a way of letting your body move on and keeping the memory.
Is there a video that I can bring up about this? Can I find it somewhere?
Yeah, it had to be on the next show. So I'm actually on the phone that I'm actually working with right now. But I'll send it to you later on, and you can look at it, and Susie can review it, and we can find some problems with it or whatever. But it's interesting. It's interesting. It's like,
Susie, can you recognise the relationship that you and Nikos have got right now? Nikos sees you as the ultimate, like the proof. You are the fact checker.
Wait, she brought up the flat Earth in 2 minutes. I said it in the chat earlier. Like, hopefully, I can not get away with getting berated today. But literally, boom, 2 minutes straight in. So I'm all right with that relationship. I'm all right. But no, there's a video. There's a video that correlates with the fact that the pyramids actually was a technology that actually was for remembering your next life, and the whole purpose of the
pyramids are aligned to the stars, Nikos. And as Susie asked you earlier, how does that work? How does that work in your theory?
What? Sorry, what's the question?
The pyramids, right? There was a hole in the top of the pyramids, I believe, or something, right? I don't know. It all aligns to some sort of shit with Sirius. Am I wrong?
Well, just to sort of throw the spanner back at you, like if the stars are still above the pyramids in the same constellation, how would that work on a ball Earth?
I'll play like I was playing the devil's advocate earlier for Susie. I was defending you earlier for Susie's argument. I'll defend Susie now. I'll get ahead of Susie. Apologies, I've had a couple of beers, so I'm now being too talkative. I'll shut up in a second. But the argument, the globe Earth argument as to how that whole shit works, is in the cyclicality of the precession, right? So that when people say we don't know how old the pyramids are, and they go, it probably not 6,000 years old, right? Because of the way that the water, Dr. Robert Stark or something, whoever his name is, he was looking at the erosion of the bottom of the pyramids and the bottom of the Sphinx and saying that's down to water, not rain. That's not through precipitation. That's through something else. He said, well, and there was no rain in Egypt at that particular time. But if you go back one cycle of the Earth's, however it works, the
rotation,
whatever it was, then he then presumes on that basis that the pyramids must be a little bit older when it was last in its cycle. But if that's the logic, it could be another cycle before that, or 2 or 3 cycles earlier than that, right? We don't know because you can't carbon date. But ultimately, the answer to your question is the stars aren't forever there in the same thing. They're only there temporarily in a big giant cycle that happens just to last such a long cyclical period.
Yeah, the mathematical probability of them stars ever being in the same position twice is literally 0. Like, there's not even like 0.
Nikos, you said this before, and people in the comments have said, Nikos, you bring up the mathematical probability and then you don't really back it up with maths. So you have to back it up with maths.
But if we're shooting around all over the place, what is the chance of the same 3 stars being depicted to be replicated by builders of a pyramid like 3 times? Like, it's not possible, mate. Like, again, I'll find some facts to back it up, but
the glober, you said this the last time as well, and you still haven't come with the facts, Nikos. You have to stop talking about your whiteboard. You have to stop putting things down and start bringing things out. People like that's not funny.
And a pen.
No, but what's it called? Help me out here, John. Help me out here, Susie. What's it called?
John's with me.
It's not the rotation of the Earth in a day. It's
the cycle around the sun. Yeah, which happens. Yeah, so the rotation is once a day, and the cycle around the sun is once a year.
No, but it's like there's a 12,000 year precision something where this is how Nibiru comes into the conversation. Like Nibiru's only in our orbit for like a tiny fraction of it once every 12,000 years.
We're not talking about 1 star. We're talking about 3 stars in the same place at the same time. And bear in mind, these people built a pyramid to match it in the stars. It's just not mathematically possible. It's literally like 0%, like 0.000%.
Whatever the fucking phrase is, the precision, like the cyclicality of it, that it all takes like 12,000 years for itself to complete.
How do they know? They can't write that down.
Okay, so let me ask you this: but what difference does it make if the Earth is flat? You saying then the Earth is not moving and the stars are not moving, because if the stars are in the same place then as well?
No, I'm saying the stars go around us, and it's easier to be able to map them out because they're there a more regular period than what Sean is suggesting. Sean's suggesting that the precession cycle.
Now you are saying that they are moving, that they are staying the same.
Yeah, the stars never change, but they move around like an umbrella in the sky. And it's been mapped out through ancient history, through every civilization known to man, bar the last 60 years.
So you're saying now the stars do move?
The stars move, we don't move.
Okay, so then how is it that you work out, if we're on a flat Earth, how did they build the pyramids then based on the stars that then you're saying that they don't move when you've just said the stars move?
The stars move, but they move around on an annual basis on a very short calendar period.
Here we go. I got it for you.
Sean's suggesting every like 12,000 years or something.
No, it's 25,800 years. Here we go. This is the globe Earth explanation. Okay, and this is Dr. Robert Schoch when he was talking about He was talking about the fact that the reason why the pyramids are nowhere near as new as the Egyptologists say it is because of the recession of the water, the water that's basically kind of I can't even speak. The water that's basically like diluted the granite over time in Egypt. Eroded it. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, mate. Fucking hell. When was the last time I ever asked Danny for help finishing a sentence?
A lot. A lot.
Here we go. At the end.
The cycle of the equinox, known as the precession of the equinoxes, is approximately 25,800 years long. This is caused by the slow wobble of the Earth's axis of rotation, which causes the position of the equinox to shift westward through the constellations of the zodiac over this period. So
another name for it is axial precision. I think it is axial precision. It's they say it's 26,000 years.
But it's long enough that there's like civilizations come and go within the same equinox, right? But basically Robert Schoch said because of this thing, which would have repositioned the points on the Earth in different environments, essentially where rain would have been more likely at certain periods, whatever. Yeah. Therefore, the pyramids can't be 6,000 years old; they have to be 28,000 years old or whatever. But he's making the assumption of that. But he's assuming that within that equinox, the period in which Egypt would have been under like heavier rainfall goes back X amount of years, like 15,000 years or whatever, right? But what he doesn't extrapolate that to is to suggest that maybe it could be 2 equinoxes ago. So it could be 51,600 years ago or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm making myself... John, help me out here, bro. You're an expert in these things. What are we doing? I'm going to stop talking.
What I want is, like, Nikos has asked for a lot of evidence about a flat Earth. I want to see some fucking evidence about a globe Earth, please.
Show me a curve.
Can anyone show me the fucking evidence for the globe? No.
I'll take it, mate. I'll take it every day. I'll keep going.
Where's the satellite? Where's those satellite photos of Australia being underneath and people fucking standing on upside down?
Upside down planes.
Where is there an ocean liner going around the fucking curve, and you can show me from space this fucking ocean liner going around the pissing curve? Where is it? Show me. Come on.
Mate, common sense just seems to get lost somewhere. It just seems to get lost somewhere. I try my best, but we need Eric, mate. I'm going to send him an email.
Susie, over to you. I can't help you on this one. Susie, over to you. Show me the evidence.
Please, because the fact that you're actually asking questions like this just shows... I really want to say how narrow-minded you are. You genuinely think we're talking about a little globe like this. Do you know how big the Earth is to know that you're not going to see a curve on a ship? Like,
no,
Sean,
can you what they say the curvature is? Tell us about what these scientists tell us the curvature is.
What is it that you want to know about the curvature? You're not going to drive on a road, which is what this man says in his bloody video. You're driving, and then all of a sudden you start going round like that. That doesn't work like that.
So tell us about the scientific facts of curvature. You're asking Nikos for evidence about the flat Earth. So you've got to give us evidence about the globe, about the curvature, where it curves away. When an ocean liner is sailing away from the port, how far away until you can't see it?
It's just perspective.
What's that distance? What do they say?
But that either doesn't prove that it's flat or it's got curvature. That's just your eye of sight. Anything, the further it gets, the smaller it's going to become until it disappears.
That doesn't prove the globe then. That proves that
also, the Earth is that big. You're not going to see where it curves. Like, I don't know how you
That's
even...
the thing, is the Earth is
25. That's what the scientists tell us, that it curves to a certain level every certain distance.
25,000 kilometers in circumference should show 8 meters per mile squared, and you should be able to prove curvature every single mile. And if the longer your test is, the easier it will be to prove it. Yet to this day, not one person I've ever argued with has been able to prove to me any curvature.
Okay, so tell me where you live. Is there any hills? Are there any mountains?
Yeah, that doesn't prove curvature because there's hills and mountains. It's proves.
But you don't know what's underneath that, though.
No, but you can do. There's lots of flat.
Physically cannot see the curve. Doesn't mean that it's not there.
Yeah, but the Earth is 71% of water, and water always has to find level. So if it's 71% water, that means that the curve is made up from 29% land, which is just not mathematically plausible in any way, shape, or form.
See, this thing here, this thing on the screen, right, that Danny sent me, is absolute garbage as evidence. It's absolute garbage, Danny.
Mate, I'm getting them one at a time. I'm getting them one at a time. Go on. Is Danny a flat?
I don't believe this. So I don't believe the world is flat, but I tell you what, I for sure as fuck do not believe that what I've just seen there. Let me go back a little bit. Like this curve.
You don't believe this then? That the world record.
You can see the camera moving, the fisheye lens as top right corner.
I believe that he jumped from a very high height, but I do not for a second trust that camera isn't modified. Because even Neil My Ass Tyson, who is like the biggest donut in the world, but all of the all of the sort of celebrity, he's a celebrity scientist or whatever. He'll probably have a star on the on Hollywood Boulevard, no doubt about it. Even he said that there's no way possible. He goes, if you were to take, because to Susie's point, right? If you were to like take the size of the Earth and represent it as a snooker cue, like the white ball on a snooker table, she said he goes, and then you think about how big that is, and then you were to put all of the different mountains and the drops and the valleys and all the troughs and all this stuff, it would feel so smooth that it would feel as smooth as a snooker ball, because the size of the Earth is so vast and the mountains relatively are so small relative to the size of the Earth that it would literally feel basically as smooth as a snooker ball. And so he also says that you're never ever going to see the curvature of the Earth ever, even within Earth's orbit. That's why he's literally said that. And then these videos come out all the time, trying to show the curvature of the Earth. And
one of two things is true. Either we live on a ball, but the actual numbers they've given us of 25,000 kilometers in circumference is completely wrong by a lot, or we live on something flat. But Danny's just obviously provided that video, so I assume he believes in what we were taught at school. Why is it you believe, Danny, that we live on a ball?
Why would I believe that the Earth is flat?
That's not what he asked you.
Yeah, but because I don't believe the Earth's flat. I believe that we are part of we are a planet in such a small universe and multiple universes and galaxies out there. And I personally as well, I don't think we're the only humans, or let's just say life in our universe. I think there's more life outside of outside of our planet than there is anywhere else. But I think this is a planet. I don't think this is. I can't see how Earth can just be flat. So it's like looking at a map, right? The world map. It's like, so are people saying that's basically how our Earth stops. How do we fly from one part to another, right, of the world, or go around the world? Like, it's like the Earth doesn't just stop, does it? It doesn't just. You can't just go from one end to the other and that's it. It just continuously goes around.
But my question was, how have you come to that conclusion on your own? How have you decided that is what the conclusion is? How have you decided? You seem like an intelligent guy. From what I've seen about you, you seem like an intelligent guy. So let me just ask you how you got to that point.
Okay, can I just interject here, though? In the millions of years that people have been in existence, there is not one image that shows the flat Earth. So why do you think that is? And you say it's about, they want to take us away from, God and all of that type of stuff. How did that one ancient man who never had any clothes, let's go back to caveman times, even before that, how did he now communicate to all the civilizations up until this point, and they've all decided to group together to say, oh, we're going to keep this conspiracy that the world is flat?
Maybe more people did that experiment and come to their own conclusions.
But also, what I don't understand is why is it that we've only started hearing about flat Earth in the last couple of years or so?
We haven't. That every civilization that was before us knew that we lived on a flat plane and the firmament was above us in the sky. It's documented through.
Yeah, hold up, Nikos. Hang on, Danny. I've got to debunk both of you here. I've got to debunk both of you. Okay. First and foremost, like when you see that jump, for example, just then, right? Like that to me doesn't prove anything at all. And so I'm like, okay, so it 100% doesn't prove anything, because there's no fucking chance. If you look at the math, there's no fucking chance that a geezer can jump out of in Earth orbit and see the curvature.
That's what you believe. I believe that's true.
No, by the math that Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is a celebrity scientist, already says and agrees. Right?
One scientist says something and another scientist says another thing.
Well, exactly. That's the question.
No,
that's a question. That's a question. It's a good question to ask. However, what I will say, there's loads of videos of rockets, like kind of, I don't know, residential rockets, wherever, people that have like gone out and bought a rocket, that have put their camera on it, that have sent it up, that have the little fisheye on it, and if you pause it just right, then they can get just as high as that geezer can, and it still doesn't show the curvature. So I want to debunk both of you, because like I agree with Nikos to the point where like neither of the stories really make sense, because I personally have been on a flight. I have personally been on a flight from Johannesburg to Sydney. I have personally, when I moved to Sydney, I was in Johannesburg for my brother's wedding, and I flew direct one way, 16 hours or whatever it was. And that isn't possible on the flat Earth map. It isn't possible. So at that point, I was like, okay, all of the flat earthers, and on that 200 proofs that the Earth is flat thing from Eric Dubay, he talks about flight times and flight paths, and he says it doesn't happen, it's impossible. And I'm like, well, you're full of shit, because I actually was on one, so don't believe it. So like, big fat fucking giant cross.
Also-
However, a lot of the evidence of the globe Earth that is also shown is debunkable. It is debunkable. There are lasers that have been taking place over frozen ice lakes where refraction, like this argument where people go because of the 8 inches per square mile, that's the curvature of the Earth as the size of the Earth is represented to us. By that calculation, you shouldn't be able to see from A to B directly, but you can in so many examples. You can do it physically yourself, right? And then they go, oh, the reason why that you can see it is because of refraction. Refraction doesn't work above frozen air, right? Like, refraction only happens when there is heat in the air, which curves the light. So there are places in Alaska at certain times of the year where you can get from one point to the other on a frozen lake where it is literally below freezing, and therefore there is no refraction, and yet you can still see to the other side, or you can get a laser and you can get it to the other side and it will come back off a mirror, and the refraction argument is full of shit. So all I'm saying is both the flat earth argument is full of shit, and the arguments why the flat earth argument are full of shit is also full of shit. And I've seen it for myself on both sides. So I don't know what fucking shape the earth is, but I sure as fuck know that the official model and the flat earth model are both fucking stupid.
So do you believe in the Earth's core then?
No.
You don't believe in the Earth's core?
No, why would I? What's the biggest hole? What's the biggest hole that we've ever dug into the ground in history?
I don't know. I know
exactly.
How do you know, Nikos?
Because it's documented. It's 8 miles into the ground.
So I could document something right now, and I could say it's documented.
No, come on, mate. This is machinery. This is like a big fucking hole they dug into the earth.
How do you know? You haven't seen it yourself, so how do you know? I could sit here and say you could sit here and say you know because someone else has told you that this doesn't exist. So you're just choosing. It's like faith, Nikos, right? Okay. It's like people choose to believe in God and people don't choose to believe in God. It's the same thing, right?
It's exactly
the same thing. This is true, Nikos. You can't win an argument. You can't win an argument by saying I know. You have to show how you know.
Right now,
you don't know.
Let me just say my thing, and you can tell me whatever you want, right? How many people have drilled to the core of the earth to prove you right?
I don't know how many people.
Zero. None. The biggest hole that has ever been drilled is drilled by Russians and goes 8 miles deep. So none of us know the answer to that question. So you are not right, and might not be right, but the mathematical probability that there is an Earth core there, that we're told what it is what they say it is when we're taught in schools, is probably not right. John, back me up on that.
Yeah,
please.
and I also heard Danny saying before, when you asked him about the globe Earth, he said, because I believe. So that's not factual. That's not stating fact. That's saying I believe.
Yeah, I believe because of the science is out there, right? To me, that evidence shows more.
Evidence?
The evidence shows more, right? Evidence you can find on any sort of evidence on the internet.
There's Nikos, how do you know it's right, even though you've seen it? So
yeah, but I'm saying there is more evidence to show that we are on a globe, we are on a planet, right?
What evidence?
So where's the evidence to show that we're on a flat Earth?
Yeah, where's the more evidence?
But where's the evidence to show we're on a flat Earth?
Well,
because I only started hearing about flat Earth a few years back, right? It was never a thing when I was a kid. It was never a thing.
If you believe that guy dropped out of space and landed on a particular part of Earth, right, and that's moving at 10,000 miles an hour, spinning through space, how did he land in the exact right place?
I don't know.
Susie, you brought this up earlier, right? You were saying that if you're within the vacuum, then you move with the thing, right? So that particular Red Bull jump thing was apparently like 5 miles short or 3 miles short or something of the space station that doesn't operate with the same model. The space station apparently, and by the way, this was the first major fucking row that I had with my dad and his wife, right? My dad was always like, it pissed me off because he was always like, Sean, the world is exactly as they say it is and you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, you know what? I used to respect you, but I don't respect you on this because here's the thing. You see a plane in the sky, right? And you see how small a plane looks in the sky. On a clear day when you see a plane flying over a jumbo jet, right? 100 meters long, or 80 meters long, whatever it is, and it's big as it is, and it's flying wherever. You see how small that is? That's 1 mile. That's less than a mile in the sky. The space station that flies. You can see the space. You can get a space station map on. You can get an app, right? That will say, "Oh, 8:04 this evening, you'll see a light in the sky or whatever, and it'll be flying over. That thing that's moving, that will be the space station, right?"
Mhm.
That thing is 6 times higher in the sky than a plane. It's the same size as a jumbo jet, and yet it looks larger than a plane that is 5 times lower in the sky. And there is a rule of thumb, which is double the distance, half the size. That's the rule.
No, actually, I've got it. Actually, I wrote it down the other day. It's a quarter of the size. It's called the inverse square law. It's double the
square law, yeah.
Double the distance from the light source, and the intensity of the light becomes a quarter as bright, not half as bright.
That's the stars, right? That's the stars.
Let me ask you a question.
Right? Hold on. But generally speaking, the inverse law, if this is 1 foot in front of me, 2 foot in front of me, it's half as big on perspective. It's the inverse law, right? It's double the distance, half the size. For luminescent things like stars, you're absolutely right. It's quarter of the size. The space station that flies that doesn't operate to the same rules of if you're inside the vacuum, right? You're spinning at the same ratio as everything within it. That's why you don't feel momentum. Again, it doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm not saying that the world is flat. I don't believe the world is flat, Danny. I don't believe the world is flat. I sure as fuck don't understand how it isn't when the science doesn't make sense.
The science makes sense to me because of this. How do we get light? We get light from the sun, right? We get light from the sun. Why is it right now when I look outside my window, it's completely dark? Why is that? Because the Earth spins on its axis away from the sun. That's why the other side of the world, right, is a different. It's different day. It's the light is shining on that part of the world. If the Earth was flat, right, are you telling me if the Earth was flat, right, then the sun has a shutter and it just closes off when it's dark for some people and light for other people? It's not blind. The sun's got a blind.
Things, right? Imagine it's on a clock face and the sun is circumnavigating away. So we're at a different point.
That makes
so you're
no sense whatsoever.
But okay, let me just cover one more thing, right? One thing, right? You tell me this and I'll rest my case and we'll leave it at that for the viewers to decide, right? The deepest hole that has ever been drilled in this earth is the Kola Super Deep Borehole in Russia. It is 12,262 meters, which is 7.6 miles. That is 0.2% of the distance to the Earth's central crust that is projected. So what's more plausible? The fact that someone can drill 8 miles into the ground and the conclusion is that, or that we know exactly what is for the other 99.8%.
I'm going to ask you again, Nikos, right?
Why?
Because I'm trying to ask you, right? Why is it that one side of the world is dark, and when that side of the world is dark, the other side of the world is light?
Okay, are you familiar
how does light work if the Earth was flat? Tell me. I have no idea.
Yeah, okay, mate, fine, got you. Loud and clear. Are you familiar with the yin yang symbol?
Yes.
Okay, well, look into your origins of that, my friend, and you'll find out the answer to your question.
Right, hang on, I've got to show you this. Right. How big is the ISS? Okay, can you see that on the screen? The ISS is 109 meters long. Okay?
Yeah.
This motherfucking I'll show you the rest of it in a second. How long is the A380 aircraft? 72 meters. So it's about 25 meters longer, right? So it's, I don't know, 1/3 bigger. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back. How high is the ISS? 408 kilometers in the air.
Fuck off. You gotta be stupid to believe this stuff, honestly.
408 kilometers in the air. Go and look up the ISS app and find out when the next time that it's flying over your location, and then look in the sky and it will look 10 times bigger than a fucking plane that is 4 kilometers in the air. It
The math
doesn't
don't mess.
make sense.
The math
I'm not
don't mess.
saying that the Earth is flat. I don't believe the Earth is flat, but I sure as fuck do not believe the science of what they tell you. It
So
doesn't make any sense.
basically, Sean, you're on the fence and you don't know what. So what's the Earth then? Is it a triangle? Is it a hexagon? Is it what is the Earth?
I don't know.
Can
I'm
I
just
ask
saying
one
the story is
question?
not real. Go
Can
on,
I ask
Jenny.
one question?
Yeah.
If the Earth wasn't round and it was flat, how, in glory's name, can you fly from China the other way down to America without it being flat? Are you going below the Earth now?
Yeah, that's true.
You said you got to imagine you're on a clock face, as opposed to thinking you're on a ball. Imagine you're on a clock face, which is
Clock
where
is circular.
It's circumnavigating, which all boats use. All captains of boats use that, but also it's the origins of the yin yang symbol. So it's circumnavigation as opposed to whatever they tell us.
So you're not saying the Earth is flat. So you're saying the Earth is circular then, but flat. Is that what you're saying?
This is your map. This is your map, right?
Yeah. So
Closer to it
you're
than the ball,
saying
yeah.
if you're going from China, right, and you can fly the opposite way around, and you can fly the
China would be where my. Can you see my mouse? Can you see my mouse on the screen?
It will make no difference to go left or right or up or down. It will make no difference at all.
China's about here. China's about here. China's about here, right? Where my mouse is. Just to the east of the North Pole, right? This is Australia, South America, Africa. So I flew from the bottom of Africa, where Susie's from. I guess, Susie, am I wrong? You're South African, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I flew from here, right down here, in one direction to Sydney, which is on the east coast over here somewhere of Australia. I flew that in one leg, one go in 16 hours. That's not possible on your model, Nico.
No, it is possible, but it depends on the speed of the aircraft you're on, the airplane you're actually involved with. Concorde used to do twice the speed of commercial aircraft these days. There's so many considerations, but if you do the longest distance flight, which is Sydney to Santiago, Chile on that map, that flight is not possible.
Wait, so you're saying that from
put that map back up and to do the complete opposite direction from the bottom to the top.
So from Sydney, which will be here, to over here, can you see my mouse?
Exactly, yeah. And if you sell flights like I used to sell, the stopping point is in North America, which is either LAX in Los Angeles or Dallas Fort Worth, which is just off halfway.
It's perfectly aligned. I hear that. But explain this. Explain how I flew from there to there.
That's I just said to you. The flight is a lot shorter, and there's aircrafts. Qantas used to operate a lot of faster aircrafts than what the commercial aircrafts do today. They do between 400 and 600 miles per hour. The Qantas aircrafts and the Concorde used to do up to 800 to 900, I think. So it depends on the circumstance of your flight. I hear what you're saying. I get your point. I'm just saying that was potentially possible.
Mate, because with like the shit like the space station thing, that doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. No. There's no way that thing's in the air like 15 times higher than a commercial plane. Mate. It's the same, relatively the same size as the plane.
Can you just bring up that map again? Could you bring up that map again?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Mate, we was all indoctrinated from the same place. I completely get it.
So can you explain then how you can fly from the UK to New York? Takes on that map it should take longer, but in real time it takes quicker to get to New York than it would do to Canada. How does that work if Canada, according to your map here, is closer to the UK?
So the UK is where my marker is.
No one flies over
New
York.
New York is probably here somewhere.
Yeah, you're not allowed to fly over the center. So what has to happen is flights that have to deviate slightly might be longer or shorter, depending on the direction the plane has to take and the route. Boom.
What? Hang on. What? There's an interesting. I'm not sure about that one because I feel like that's too close. That's too close to call, right? So like New York's here.
Yeah. So it's possible with any flight. It's possible with any flight, yeah. But there's
Nick's argument is that they can just turn on the boosters and then make the plane fly faster. Then Nikos, every single pilot in the world has to be in on it.
Not every single pilot, because the majority of flights, 98% of a flight is on autopilot. Yeah, actually, only like personal part of a flight that actually a pilot actually does is it's the first 4 minutes and the last 8 minutes. So most pilots are sleeping or shagging, birds in the toilets or whatever, mate. Like I know commercial pilots. I know a guy that was trained by Tiger Airways in Thailand. He works now for Etihad Airways and he's been a captain there for 8 years, mate. He's dumb as a brush, but he can fly a plane. And again, the thing is like a lot of it now is autopilot. 98% of most flights are autopilot, depending if it's over like 6 hours. So they don't have to like know.
Not every pilot, not every scientist in the world is going to lie about them seeing the curvature or the end of the earth, all these magical walls that you believe are on each side of the earth.
Susie, I get it.
Cousins of pilots.
I get it. They're called whistleblowers. And if you type in any of these subjects on YouTube, mate, you'll find hundreds of examples of people talking about the flights, people talking about the science.
So that's where you get evidence from YouTube. People making videos on YouTube.
No, not at all. Again, you can try and undermine me all you want.
You just said it.
Danny, to be fair, you can't ridicule someone who takes his opinion from someone else because we all take our opinions from someone.
Of course we do. But there is more for me.
It's not fact, but it's not. It doesn't make it fact.
Yeah, it doesn't make it. But for me, the reason why I believe the Earth is we are a planet, is because we orbit the sun, right? The sun, the Earth spins.
That's not what the flat earthers believe. That's not what the flat earthers
believe. But this
is
why, in my opinion, sorry, no disrespect, Nikos and John, I think it's the most delusional conspiracy I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard a lot. And I like conspiracies and I like to get into both sides of the argument. But I think it's the most ridiculous conspiracy I've ever heard in my fucking life. Because there is no way. But John, how is it that sunlight, right? It's now dark. Because if the Earth was flat, right? Tell me, how does the sun shut off? Right, so that on one side of the world it's light, and the other side of the world is dark. Are you telling me the sun is blind?
Danny, you've asked the question.
It's got blind.
John, come in. Please come in, John. Please come in.
So Nikos has left the space, but I wanted him to listen to this because
he's gone to get some evidence. But John, whilst he's gone, you talk.
What I want to know is if you're on a flight. Right, and that flight, that aircraft is going slower than what we're told the Earth spins at. Yeah, how do you catch up and land on that point of reference? It's like if a car is traveling faster than you are in your car, you are not going to catch up to that car if it's going at a faster speed. It's going to either have to slow down or you're going to have to accelerate. So we're told that the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, and that where you're starting is quicker than what you're traveling. How do you get there? Because it's always going to go quicker than what you're traveling in.
Okay, but John, if you genuinely feel that you're on an Earth that's traveling at 1,000 miles, the G-force alone would kill you. So I mean, that can't be logical.
No,
so I mean, you don't feel that rotation. The rotation you feel is 24 hours.
We're told by people who believe in the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
John's not saying that it is. John's saying that your worldview says that it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm saying you don't feel it though. The Earth does one rotation in 24 hours.
And that's what we're told, that it's moving. As I said, if you're traveling, right, in a commercial jet and it's traveling at 600 miles an hour, and you're going in the same direction that the Earth, we're told, is spinning, right? Now, if that's spinning at 400 miles an hour quicker, how are you going to get to that destination point unless you travel at the same speed, right? You're not, are you? Like I said,
but John, Susie's answer to that is the conventional answer, which is that we're all within the model, right? We're all within that kind of trapped environment.
So
and again, sorry, John. So to me, this is another thing that's weird to me, and I'm someone that's on the fence. And I'm skeptical. Right? I'm open-minded to anything. I'm not married to the ball Earth. Certainly not a flat earther, because I've shown you already reasons why I don't believe. But at some point, there is a law, there is a Newton's law or an Einstein's law or some fucking geezer's law that talks about being inside of a model, right? And that in order to be inside in order to be inside that sort of that trapped environment where you're spinning at the same time, therefore you don't feel it. And the reason why you can't just jump in the air and then land 3 foot next to you, like where you would otherwise be, because you're inside it. Okay, for that to happen, you have to be inside a vacuum. And the vacuum, the law of a vacuum requires that there is a shield from the outside of the vacuum, that there is no shield, because unless there's a firmament. Like we might be on a spinning ball, but there might be then for that to happen, there has to be a firmament, because otherwise, at some point you go up far enough, and then at some point you're outside of that trap. You're outside of that vacuum, and the idea you send a rocket up to the fucking Mars, right? You send a rocket up to Mars. Even if that whole thing's true, you put the rocket up, you go up, you break through some imaginary invisible barrier, that vacuum. Once you get outside of that, isn't then the same problem? Doesn't the same problem exist that Mars is doing this and the Earth is doing this, and it's all flying through space at like 10 million miles an hour? Once you get outside the vacuum, why don't you fucking get left behind? Like, how is it that you can travel? Because it's not just the Earth that's moving around the sun, right? It's the sun that's moving through space from the Big Bang at like 10 million miles an hour or whatever it is. So once you get out the vacuum of Earth, even if the Earth vacuum model is real, and then between Earth and the moon, or between Earth and Mars or whatever else, aren't you going to get left behind by everything else is flying this direction? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
John, I heard every word you said, my friend, and you were 100% right. If that was the case that Sean just mentioned there would be an optimal time to be able to travel to Mars. There would be a certain point where you'd have an advantage in terms of like space or how much distance. But I'll take it back to the original point, is like, we were all indoctrinated by the same program that's owned by the same people. And it's just a case of freeing yourself from what they taught us. We all believe what they taught us originally. Like, we all were taught a ball.
Let's get away from the kind of the philosophical trust your instinct thing. Let's figure out the science between the 6 of us. Okay. Cool. Somebody explain to me, either a flat earther or a globetard, whatever. Somebody explain to me how it is that what I just put out it can't be true. Right? Both can't be true.
Look at the link I just sent in the chat, right? And it explains how planes can land, right? Due to the way gravity works, the way how it works within our atmosphere. Just read that first paragraph. It's a Google search page, right? But just read the first couple of bullet points, and it kind of explains exactly.
Gravity is theoretical. How do you explain gravity? What is gravity? Because everyone with flat Earth who's arguing against it says the word gravity, and I always hear it. And it's how are we?
How are we? Click on show more. And
planes can land on a spinning Earth because the aircraft, the atmosphere, and everything on the ground, including the airplane and the runway, are already moving together with the Earth's rotation. Fine. Planes don't need to fight against the Earth spin because they're already part of that rotating bubble of air. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. If that's the case, then we are in the vacuum, right?
Look at how it works. Where is what you're talking about? Click on where show more, and say how it works. It explains it here.
No, all of these things. I've looked at this before. All of these things make sense in a world where there is a dividing line within the vacuum and without the vacuum, and there isn't one according to the normal model. And even if there doesn't need to be one, at some point you get outside of the Earth's orbit, whereby you don't need to send your thrusters anymore because you're then in the vacuum of space, and you can just travel at the same speed of which you entered the vacuum of space because there's no inertia.
So
there
what's
is
your
no
question,
gravity.
Sean? It's the atmosphere. What is your question?
My question is that if it's true that there doesn't need to be a vacuum, then once you get outside of, there doesn't need to be a shield or some sort of barrier between the vacuum of the Earth and the vacuum outside it. Then once you get through it, which is questionable to me, but once you get through it, why is it that you're not suddenly left behind? Because the sun is also, it's not like the Earth is not just traveling around the stationary sun. The sun, according to the science, is traveling through the universe from the point of the Big Bang at like a gazillion miles an hour, however many miles an hour. So if you get out of the Earth at some point, like, why aren't you suddenly immediately getting left behind because the sun's going at this fast this way? It doesn't make sense, Susan.
Everything is moving, Sean. Everything is moving together.
Yeah, but once you get what? So, but the vacuum of space isn't moving. You're
not
moving
vacuum.
through space. You're
There's
moving
dark
through
matter.
space.
Dark matter, dark energy. There's stuff. It's not.
No, but
completely
okay,
vacuum.
but don't. But dark energy and dark matter are literally words for the science to make sense. There has to be things that we can't explain. That's
Agreed.
literally what dark energy is and dark matter. We don't
Gravity's
know
the
what they
same.
are, but the reason why the universe is expanding, but we don't all get pulled apart, is because of dark energy and dark matter. And those two things are concepts that no one on the human brain can understand. Therefore, it's just the science can't science without this thing. Therefore, we're just going to insert
math.
this thing.
It's it's the same thing. Higgs boson, right? It was a theoretical construct, but once they built the accelerator, they actually found it, right? So you can use math to predict certain things. It doesn't mean that if you don't
They
find
knew
them,
what
they're
the
not
Higgs
there.
boson was. They knew what the Higgs boson was. They knew what they were looking for with dark energy and dark matter. And dark energy and dark matter makes up 98% of what they believe the universe is made of, right? And they have no fucking clue what it is or how it works or what they're looking for. They have absolutely no clue. So it's basically, we've got a scientific model, as far as I understand it, and I'm a moron, but as far as I understand it, and I've looked into it, I've read into it, the geezer from the Manchester University, the guys on Joe Rogan, I've watched all of this stuff. He says, our model requires certain things to be there, and we don't understand 98% of what needs to be there for the thing to make sense. Therefore, we call those things dark energy and dark matter.
But what matters is it predicts things, right? So even if we haven't, we don't know exactly what those forces are, when you plug things in, everything makes sense, right? You can make a prediction based on calculations, right? So when somebody's like, "Hey, how
Eugene,
far is?"
that's like me saying, how the fuck did Perchy pull Susie? Right? And then none of us have got a fucking clue, right? So we go, it's just chemistry. I don't know.
Dark matter.
No disrespect, Perchy, I love you, man. It's banter. But you understand
Gravity. Gravity, yeah, dark matter and gravity.
Well, again, how did we end up here?
It happened. It happened. We don't really understand how. So let's just put in the word chemistry. Okay. I'm only kidding, Perchy. I'm only kidding, mate. I love you to
It's the
pieces.
predictions, right? It's the formulas, and that's why theories are there.
Formulas work when it comes to your side of the story, but when mathematical calculations come into our side of the story, it doesn't matter.
Like what? Oh,
curvature. You explained it. There should be a certain amount of curvature every mile, whatever it is. The formula 8 meters per meter squared, but that doesn't matter. So when we come into talking about mathematical equations, all of a sudden we're wrong. But when it's your side, it's blind faith and dark matter.
No, but it's the prediction, right? So about experimentation and predictions. Einstein, so when Einstein said E equals mc squared, he made predictions, and then actually 5 or 6 years later, during, I forgot, was it an eclipse, right? You could actually go and actually.
You do understand the contradiction. You do understand that everything we say we have to prove to the death of our lives, but everything you say is theoretical science. You do understand there's a huge contradiction in the sides of the story, right?
Neil deGrasse Tyson says it, and I believe him.
Mason.
But all I'm saying is, again, right? Since Newton, since the ancient Greeks, right? They made certain assumptions. There's a theory, and then the theory, you can actually test it and see, does this equation predict what we're seeing, right? And if it does, then it does. If it doesn't, okay, let's work on a different theory. Let's work on a different set of calculations.
What I'm saying is there seems to be a massive. All I'm saying is there seems to be a massive.
Do you understand? Can you at least acknowledge, Eugene, that scientists do fill in the gaps in their knowledge by saying we don't understand how it works? The only way we can make the math and the science is by inserting theories that we have no fucking clue what they are or whatever it is. But as far as we understand it, the universe should be fucking expanding to the point where it pops. But the fact that it doesn't means that there has to be some other force at play here that keeps everything together. And because we have no idea what that is yet, we're just going to call it dark matter and dark energy. And that is 98% or whatever it is of the way that the universe. Okay, so if the humans don't have a fucking clue how it works, and they just expect you to buy into the idea that 98% of the story is filled with things that doesn't make any sense, then people are going to be skeptical and go, all right, fair enough. You might not just not know yet, but in the meantime, don't expect me to believe your hypothesis.
But look, an example is quantum mechanics. Nobody knows how it works, right? The string theory, all that stuff, nobody knows. However, but the reason why it's a theory is that it predicts things, right? When they measure, when they predict, it fits within the model.
Eugene, so you're wrong, mate. You're wrong. Like, the word theory in science, everything's a theory, right? There's no such thing as a fact, right? So because the idea of science is removing falsehoods. It's not about finding truth, removing falsehoods, right? So you always leave your mind open, or the scientific method is to test things to remove irregularities, right? So like we don't understand how something works. Let's test something. Once we know that it wasn't this, we can remove that from the equation. So gravity is a theory because they haven't quite figured it out yet. Evolution's a theory, but people mistake the idea that evolution being a theory. And this again, I'm going to counteract now, Nikos. You're nodding at me, Nikos, but you're probably not going to enjoy what I'm about to say. That flat earthers think, or people that are like complete conspiracy theorists, believe that the fact that they call evolution a theory means that it's not like it's just a guess, right? Or but it's not. But like, all of science is a theory because no science is hard fact because they always leave the room open to more information becoming available, and so it's just the removal of falsehoods.
But physics and biology
isn't real. We can take it out of the equation.
I agree.
But go, Nikos.
I completely agree with Sean. The people like myself are more critical minded, where we compile information based on realistic outcomes. And to take it back to my
based on information that another person's belief is something different to what that person has told you, so you just don't want to listen to what that person said. So you have a different belief.
Mate, I completely agree with you, 100%. So every civilization and every ancient civilization, up until the last 60 years, believed we were on a flat plane. So the last 60 years or 70 years.
Why do you give a shit? If you don't believe people today because you think people are capable of lying, why do you give a shit about what 1,000 years ago someone thought?
Mate, the mathematical probability is either one side. Don't
do that mathematical probability shit.
Mate, I'm a financier. Either 3% are right or 97% are right. Which one are you going to go with?
No, it's not. No, because you're not. Because you're moving towards knowledge, Nikos. Right? You're moving towards knowledge.
So we're saying that these people that built pyramids have not got knowledge, or these people that have aligned structures, megaliths with stars, are not knowledgeable. It's a mathematical probability. It's like betting. It's one way or the other. No one's on the answer.
That's fine. That's fine. No one's suggesting that that we are necessarily the most advanced species that's ever been here. Can we agree that we have more information today than we did 10 years ago?
Maybe depends. You want to agree or not? No, it depends if it's compromised. A lot of the information is compromised. So it's
okay. So here's the thing. So conspiracy theorists believe today, right, that we're lied to by the people like Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or Epstein or whoever. Pick your side, whatever.
But politicians lie to everyone.
100%. I don't want to get into this particular topic, but before the internet, everyone trusted the 5 main news broadcasters, and then before the TV came along, everyone believed the history books.
Yeah.
Right. So now the internet's coming. Do we actually believe that the lie started at the start of the internet? Or is there a possibility that the history books are also full of fucking shit as well?
Mate, the problem is to get them where they need to give us internet in our hands so they can digitalize our money. So the problem is they was given a conflict of interest. They was like, do we give these people access to the internet where they can share information, or do we keep indoctrinating them for life? And that's where that's where the problem's been.
Fuck me.
Susie's partner. Who's that guy? Who's that
Why are you ruining the show, Sean?
I I'll go to the bottom. I'll be bottom of the pyramid. Okay, or top of the pyramid. I'm the inverse pyramid.
You're the eye. You're the eye. You're the eye. You're the capstone.
I'm the capstone. Perchy, welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you for having me on. After my name getting mentioned categorically again in one of these shows, it's like all you talk about is me, Sean.
I love you to bits, Perchy. I was just using you as an example of, like, for banter's sake. There was nothing meant by it, mate. You know. I understand entirely why you and Susie are, and it's because of that unbelievable November tash you've got going on. That is the draw. That is one.
Don't forget those flowers in the background. Work a charm, I tell you.
Oh, mine.
Perchy, you've got to break Susie's heart here. You've got to tell us which side of this debate you're on, my friends. This has been the beginning of the show and the end of the show.
Because, mate, you chat so much bollocks, it's mental. That's an absolute Mary.
Don't think so, my friend.
Now, but Nicholas, one thing I'll respect on one thing. You've made Danny Kiriakou look smart. Like that's an impressive talent.
Perchy, be nice, mate. Come on, be nice, mate.
Hey, mate, I know you're here showing off in front of your girlfriend, mate, but it won't work.
Hey,
it's all fun and games. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good show listening in.
So you're a globetard then? We've established.
I mean, just yeah. The thing is for me, I can't come here with. I'm not really great for this sort of show, but like what I would say is the one thing I will say is what is the reason for the conspiracy of it though? For me, conspiracies, there's got to be a reason why there's a cover up.
Mate, Susie asked this on. Susie asked. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. Susie asked on the last show is to take you further away from God. If you believed that you was under a grand design and there was a God here who created all this beautiful and you were the center of the universe, you wouldn't be morally conflicted to do things. But when you think you're coming from a sperm of a monkey flying through space at 25,000 miles an hour, you make different decisions. And Sean said it on the last show as well. You make different decisions based on that simple information you've been given. And if they can make people think more like that, as opposed to you're part of a big grand design, you're further away from your actual birthright, which is being close to God. So that is the church.
I feel with you believing in a flat earth, you're doing exactly that, going away from God, because you're trying to say, I mean, the earth and just everything within the earth, and I'm going to get very biblical here, just shows us actually how amazing. I mean, when you think about the conception of a child and how a baby is created and like how intricate that is and how it works, and that doesn't come from a big bang, or do you know what I mean? That is all about God and some of the way the animals work and their colors and their little rituals they have and flowers. And this doesn't come from this. That is the grand design, and that's what makes you believe that there's a higher power here.
The Bible, you talk about Bible, the Bible doesn't mention a ball. It mentions a firmament over us. So if you want to talk about biblical and whatever it is you said about flowers and everything else fluffy, like I get it, but at no point.
No, that was more just about your reasoning.
No religious text talks about a ball.
Yeah, but that wasn't about flat earth. I'm saying that was more just on your theory of why they're covering flat earth. You're saying it takes us away from the grand design, but I'm saying actually what you're believing is taking you away from God, because you're then taking away from actually this belief that there is a lot of magic, or you know, how the gravity does work, and you know how we are in a globe and it's spinning and we're moving with the galaxy of the sun. And
no, again, a lot of what you just said there were just words put together in a sentence. But to be honest, a lot of it doesn't make sense when you think about it logically. So if you think about it logically and critically, a grand design gives you purpose, it gives you motivation, and it gives you a reason. When you're not part of that plan and you're given the lies that we've been given, you become compromised. You make different decisions. It's as simple as that.
Can I ask you a question, Nikos? Right.
Go on, anything.
I was born as a Greek Orthodox Christian, right? But I'm not.
Before you do, just got anyone that's in the chat. We've had like over 100 people here. We're going for nearly 3 hours.
Again,
already. Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible. I fucking love this show. By the way, I love this more than Spurs Talk Show. I spent 4 years growing my Spurs Talk Show. This is now my new pet favorite thing. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Please smash the like button. Please hit the subscribe.
Thank you.
And before I hand back to Danny to ask the question, I also do want John. I want you, because I feel like Nikos is always on the receiving end of the critic, like of the hard end. And John, I know you feel just as strong, and I know you have just as many counter arguments as Nikos does. So, Danny, when you ask your question, I want to also, Nikos, you
I'm
crack
gonna
on,
ask
man.
you.
You're doing a
I'm
stellar
gonna.
job, bro. But I also
Ask
just want to
John.
let John have
Ask
his
John.
chance as well because he's a
I'll ask to everyone
Teflon
because
John. We call him Teflon
Teflon
John
John.
because he feels the same way as Nikos does, but yet nothing sticks on John because Nikos gets all the grit.
John just knows I've got it covered. John just knows I've got it covered. He just like,
John,
let's get on with
John,
it.
you've got to jump in as well, John. Like, look, I know I heard of Sean say it in the previous show. Just jump in because there's certain things I think you probably do want to chime in on because you probably got an opinion on it. But it's a question can go to anyone because I don't know what any of your beliefs are, if you're religious or not. But the question is general. Why is it that you believe in faith? Because there's an element of that faith was created. I believe faith was created, right? You know, I think you talked about it in a previous show about the devil, and I think Susie mentioned like everyone has a devil and everyone has like an angel side to them, sort of thing, right? Because everyone can be evil, everyone can be evil, and everyone can be good, right? But why I believe that faith was created by someone is because of this reason. I think faith was created because of the evil that people can become, or the evil within them, and also the good in them, right? And when people go down a bad path, like if we're going to talk about, like, say for example, mental health, right? How many times you see people who are drug addicts, right, alcoholics or whatever, right, or they're in really bad situations and they turn to God, right? I believe the reason why they do that is because they don't believe there's nothing stronger for them to have some faith or belief in something, right, for them to get out of the situation they're in, right? So, for example, I know someone who was a alcoholic for a long time, and they turned to God. They weren't a religious person, but after that, they changed their life around, right? And what I'm trying to say is that why is it that you believe in faith? Because in my opinion, I think faith was created by people because of this reason. Because mental health is not something that's just it's new. This is going back from the beginning of time, right? And I think that's why I believe that's why faith was created, because I think people need something to focus on in order for them to live a life that is not in darkness, basically, right?
It's
That's
not
what I
related,
believe.
Danny. Faith is
Faith,
just faith.
faith is a strong belief or trust in something, especially
But
without.
hold on. So, just sorry, Nicholas, just to interrupt, Eugene. You said faith is just faith. Why was Christianity born? Why was
But that's different. That's not
Islam
faith. It's
born, right?
religion.
Yeah,
Faith
okay.
is,
I'm talking about God, right? God. So
but it's different.
right,
Faith is
There's lots of
believing.
gods, mate. There's lots of gods. But long
yeah,
before Christianity,
Right.
there was
yeah,
polytheism. There was
like, of course, I know there's lots of different gods, right? But why is it that people believe in a God? That's what I'm
Because
asking you
faith,
guys.
faith is something. It's a belief that there's something bigger than you. So it's easier to live your
Without any
life
proof.
when you know that.
it helps you with the fear of death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It helps
exactly.
you with the purpose. It gives
And
you a
explain
meaning.
things.
It makes you feel like you have a reason for living, and it also keeps you. It also could be, and probably is also, a control mechanism. The people, the powers that be, want to make you fear the consequences of your actions. And
Not faith,
so,
Sean. Religion, right? Those two are different. You can be a man of faith, like I believe in God, but I'm not the religious. Those two are different. The
Yeah.
religion is there to
but they
control.
utilize for the. Okay, so the suspicious way of looking at it would be that it doesn't matter whether you're a man of faith or you have a specific religion. You could believe in, the Roman Empire, the Egyptians, like the polytheist religions, all the way back, right to the very start of civilizations that we have documented records on. All of them had a hierarchies of power, and the people at the top that were trying, the few at the top that were trying to control the many beneath. It's a method of making them behave, right? By saying, if you don't do this or act this way, then when you die, you will go to hell. The
It's
fear of
like
hell is a
to try.
massive control factor.
And do you know what? Do you know what, Sean? It's like also it's an element of control over the people. Otherwise, there'd be chaos if there wasn't some kind of form of control, right? Which is why I believe things like religion, right, is a part of that. Because let's be honest, right? if you go back from the history books, if you're going by history books, for example, right? I know some people might not believe the history books, whatever, but if you go back to history books, most wars and most human you could say genocide or whatever you call it, right, is all started from some kind of other people's disagreements in their faiths and their beliefs
Not most.
in religion or God. I think not. I think everything today is about when you even now, if you see what's going on in the world right now, it's all because of two different people's beliefs, and that's why you have so many wars and so many.
Or is that just the masking of actually powerful
mask.
people that are just doing
It's
things?
resources. It's
Yeah.
resources, and religion is just a mask for that.
Religion is a tool for powerful people to get on with what they want to get on with. I said it in an earlier part of the show. Like the people at the very fucking top, there is no right and wrong in their morality. Like there's no morals for these people. It doesn't matter whether they're Jewish, whether they're fucking Islamic, whether they're fucking Christian. It doesn't matter who they are, what they are, whether they're atheists or otherwise. They're the only right and wrong they consider is whether the decisions that they have made to meet their end goals were right or were wrong. They make mistakes along the path, as in wrong decisions, and they make good decisions along the path to get them to further their ends. The rest of us are sitting there working out whether or not what I'm doing is right or wrong, as in, am I being a good person by doing this? They don't give a fuck about that. They don't give a fuck about about you or me or anyone else. They don't care about us. They care about whether the decisions that they're making are good or bad in terms of getting them towards their goal, whatever that goal is, which is probably just power and probably just obscene wealth, and that, you know, and that's where sort of depopulation comes in. But Danny, before that monologue, mate, you wanted to ask John a question and Nikos a question.
It's just a general question to anyone who wants to chime in on that point. Like, why is it that, for example, I don't know what John's beliefs are, but for Nikos, you believe in God. Why is it that you believe in God, basically?
Okay, mate, the faith is a strong belief in or trust in something, especially without needing proof or evidence. And we all have that in some aspect of our life in one way, shape, or form. Whether you believe in a ball because you saw some pictures, or, you know, there's so many different ways you can look at it. But if you're going to believe in one thing or one thing alone, like, I think your religion is probably the one thing that you can try and have faith in, especially if you do enough research. And being a Greek Orthodox, you probably got lots of ancient texts that you probably are sacred. You know, there's certain things that can make you more convicted to certain beliefs and faiths than others, but there's some things you don't have to have blind faith in. That's the difference. It's like, you know, religion is the one exemption, I think, to the rule. I'm always open, mate. I always said to everybody, every time I do this show, I'm always open to improve wrong about the flat earth. I'm always open to...
Do you know, just about religion, right? Do you not then think that religion was created by someone who wanted to give belief to people, but also a form of control?
I absolutely agree, 100%. If you knew that that was the way that people thought, and you was a manipulative person looking to take control, then you would definitely 100% use it to your advantage. And people would do it in different walks of life, in business, in work, 100%. And religion, it wouldn't surprise.
I think, no, you're right. I agree with that. I think in modern society, you have different forms of trying to control, as we all know, with how social media is and what the governments are trying to control with people and everything that's going on in the world. And for me, I just think that religion is another form of that. Like, I'm not really, I used to be more of a religious person, but not anymore. I still believe in a God to an extent, but I also believe in more science-based evidence in terms of how we exist today, basically, or for example, how we get light and dark, how we get light and darkness.
Yeah, mate, we all believe in some sort of walk of faith in whichever
religion.
Whichever, whether it be religion or whatever. But, you know, you haven't got to blindly believe everything without evidence. That's where we kind of draw a line somewhere. You know, we can all believe in nothing or believe in something, but I think religion is kind of where we draw the line. And the topic we was talking about a minute ago is more a mathematical conclusion in my mind than faith.
I also think that, like, for example, everyone believes in something, right? And I think that's kind of one of the things with life and humans, that you have to, it's like people need something to believe in, otherwise they don't feel like they've got a place on this planet, right? Or however, or flat, or whatever you want to call it. But like, for example, I don't know what any of you guys believe or what beliefs you have, but I think it gives people a purpose for why they exist, and that's why I think faith is there. That's why people want something to have hope for, right? Otherwise, I think then it goes back to kind of what people talk about when they talk about the devil and this kind of stuff. It's like that devil within can be born because it can take them to a dark place, and I think that's why people need to have faith and hope.
Let me ask. Well, actually, I know John wanted to come in as well. I know John. I haven't heard from John for ages, but I also haven't heard from Susie or Perchy or Eugene.
Perchy just sat there like a mannequin.
I feel like Danny's gone down this like religious rooted midnight, and I'm just like, oh god, I'm too tired for this.
No more now.
It's part of the same thing, though. It's the flat Earth. You started it, Susie, by taking us back to flat Earth.
I never bring it up. I never, ever bring it up. Ever.
Susie took us down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Right,
I promise I'm
come
not
out.
going to bring it up again because I just think everyone should just believe what they want to believe. We're not going to agree. But yeah, we shouldn't make every show about the flat Earth.
So bring it
Before I
out there.
leave, one last thing. The reason religion, I'm not religious, is there should not be anybody between whoever your God is and you. It shouldn't be a priest, a rabbi, a whoever. It should be, you should have a personal relationship to whether it's a simulation, alien, whatever,
No, I
universe.
agree.
Should be just you and that. You should not, that's why religion for me, it's different, right? You should not have to go to somebody to interpret a holy text and tell you what you should be doing.
What do you think?
Have a personal
What do you?
relationship.
I agree with you, Eugene. What do you think the reason is that people need those intermediaries?
Insecurities.
Well, because they're indoctrinated into certain religions, and that's just the way it is, right? If you're Christian or if you're Jewish or whatever, you have to go to a rabbi, you have to go to a priest, and they tell you what the rules are and the laws are, right? And people are just born into that, so that becomes normal. Whereas how it was before that in the older days, right, where it was just people believed in whatever they wanted to believe, they prayed to whoever they wanted to pray, but that relationship was personal. It was you and your God and the spirit and universe and whatever, and not, you didn't have to go to church or pay a priest to tell you, oh, God meant this in the text.
Yeah, I hear that.
That's my approach. All right. Thank you, everybody.
So when on that, Eugene, when I used to go to a confirmation and stuff, I actually had a really nice teacher, and the way he kind of explained that whole thing was you don't need to go to church or to any whatever religious body that you go to, but he was just more like, you can have your own relationship with whoever it is that you believe in, but sometimes it's a bit like a fire. It's these places that you go to just are like helps keep your fire flowing, because sometimes as a human you do lose faith, or if something bad's happening to you and you're going through a bad time, they kind of just help you focus a little bit, maybe put the fuel on the fire so you kind of have that passion again and all of that. I don't necessarily think the Catholics where they have to go and do their sins to like priests and stuff, I don't believe that. I think that's that's a whole conspiracy, because I did actually want to ask, why is it that it's only really the Catholic priests that are all these weird things with children? But we don't have to talk about that because that's quite dark.
Not just the Catholic.
Muslims.
The Muslims Church has got some weird stuff in there, but it's not just the Catholics, right?
The reason
no, I meant like specifically the priests all have this notion, or this. It tends to be all the Catholic priests that are always caught with, the little boys and all of this type of stuff, and that's just obviously.
I don't know. I definitely think that celibacy is unnatural for a start. I also think that I think we did a video on this before. It's actually part of the intro video, right? Like the Catholic Church has been entirely corrupted by Satanism, because actually the Roman Catholic Church, right, is, you have to remember, if you go back to before Christ, or actually until I think it was 300 AD. So the Roman the Romans believed in polytheism, right? They had they were into many gods. They were into all sorts of weird shit. There was so many different resources that you could look at that will prove that the Romans were into some weird pedophilia with men having interactions with little boys and stuff. That was part of the culture. And then in 300 AD, there was Pope Constantine, and Pope Constantine saw that Christianity was a rising populism, and he decided to turn around and say, okay, you know what, we're going to get on board this thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn all of the paganism, which was the equivalent of polytheism rituals at the time. We're going to turn all of the rituals, all of the symbolism that represents anything to do with paganism and many gods, and we're going to make that the equivalent of sort of Satanism, essentially. So the inverted pentagram, all that stuff that was part of the polytheistic and pagan rituals, they then became devil worshipping stuff. So it was essentially a political play, a populism play. They saw that there was a rising movement, and 300 years after the Geezer died, by the way, 300 years after Christ died, if you believe in him, that Constantine turned around and said, we're going to turn, we're going to say anything that's paganism, anything that was representing polytheism, we're going to make it the antithesis of Christianity, which was the first monotheistic religion. And so a lot of that shit, a lot of that stuff that, but that was, for me, that was all just like it was a sleight of hand. It was a bait and switch. As far as I've researched, again, I don't know, but as far as I've researched, that all of the traditions, all of the systems of polytheism, like the kind of rituals, the kind of the sacrifice, all that stuff. Child sacrifice used to be an attempt in all of the various different cultures, all of like the sort of Mesopotamians, the Babylonians, all that stuff from different areas of the world. They all used to have child sacrifice because it was the purest form of sacrifice as a way to ask the gods that they believed in for when there was a drought. They would say, if we sacrifice this child, would this be enough to satisfy you to give us some rain, essentially?
That's what Christmas used to be. Christmas used to be that.
And so all of those different belief systems were into that. And so did the Romans really believe in Christianity, or did they just did the leaders just buy into it because it was a growing populism, you know?
I think the paganism, as you said, I think that was the main cultural belief system. A lot of these civilizations back then, I think they just, like someone said, hijacked a religion and rewrote it in a certain way. If you go to Rome and you look at a lot of the architecture there, they actually still have paganism symbolism all over the churches. So they've actually repurposed these places of worship, like paganism worship, where you said like child sacrifice would happen, into Christian temples. So it's a funny one.
So I think that the idea that Catholic priests were more pedophilic or more weird or whatever than anyone else, I think that was like as Christianity grew, there was an element of it that was still just a facade of a previous, especially the Roman Catholic side of it, was just a facade of what was a true belief. They were just pretending because they wanted to be on the right side of the new popular wave. But they carried on with their own traditions, and their own traditions included, child sacrifice and ritual abuse and all that stuff that is called satanic now, but really it was just worship, rituals that worship the polytheistic methods. But it wasn't okay to conduct that stuff in public, so it became more of an underground kind of thing.
It goes back to what Danny just said a minute ago about, would they manipulate faith? And I think that's exactly what happened.
Of course. We're being manipulated now. We just don't, like some of us, we all think that we're probably too smart to be manipulated, but we're still being manipulated. We are all being manipulated one way or the other, 100%. I mean, Perchy's getting manipulated by, is it Aberdeen in Football Manager, Perchy?
No. we actually moved on to 2 other clubs in the time I last spoke to you.
Fair enough. A short stint at somewhere, Elche, was it, or somewhere?
No, short stint at Reading, then went off to Bournemouth.
Sensational stuff. Hope you're doing well. John, mate, sorry, man. I've talked too much, buddy. I've had a few beers. I'm sorry.
Get John's opinion in there. Get John's opinion in there. So much stuff that he missed out on there. He didn't put his 2 pence in. Please, John.
What do you want me to talk about? I'll see if I
Well,
can.
there was Danny's question. There was Sean's monologue. There was my response. Yeah, lots of stuff that happened there.
There's a really...
But
you just read that comment. Perch is the Lubo of this channel. He's not here.
Hashemi is tired. You can see he's tired.
I haven't mentioned Jamie Donnelly once. What are you on about?
Perch is the eye candy. He's the eye candy now. His mustache.
Oh, yeah.
John, I tell you what, hear about this. I'll give you a catalyst, John. Talk to us about the symbolism in the Vatican, right? Like, there's a massive, isn't there like a giant key? Isn't there a giant key that's drawn into the roads that approach the Vatican? You know that stuff, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. In the centre, isn't it? The key shape.
St. Peter's Square.
Going on to faith and that sort of thing and religion, I follow a YouTube channel based on a guy called William Donahue, and I think it's absolutely fascinating. He talks about scriptures and Jesus, and his main theme is that if you actually read whether you believe in it or not, I'm a skeptic on this. All Jesus, God, everything, all religion, I've got an open mind to. I'm not fixed on any of it. But all religions ultimately, in my opinion, should point to the self and self-exploration and understanding who we are and who we can be as the best selves that we can be. And this guy, he talks about that a lot, about how Jesus spoke about you can do things that I can do and even better. Whereas most religions tell you that you're nothing, you're insignificant, that you're going to go to hell if you don't toe the line.
Yeah.
And that's completely going against what the core of these religions, their messages are, like Buddhism, Catholicism, Christianity. They weren't all of these labels. They were people at their very heart teaching you what you are, your soul, and how you're connected to everything and everyone, which is why films like Star Wars I find so fascinating, because it talks about things like this when they talk about things like the Force. So to me, all religions at their core are pointing in this direction, but it's the ones who control them, who get a hold of them and say, hold on a minute, we can control the masses by turning them into a fear factor.
Yep.
And that's completely against what they should be. But it's like anything, like Sean said, we're turning, now going into Christianity with Constantine from the multi-God faiths. It was whatever suited, because it was easier to go along with the mob, with the masses, and say, right, okay, let's give them what they want, than actually say, well, no, actually, let's stick to this, because the people are battling against us. And if we want to control them, let's go with them and make them think that they've got an opinion and that they're listened to, which is what we've got now. But we're all told like we've got an opinion and how clever we are and we can vote and we've all got a say in everything. But we probably haven't in the great scheme of things. But this guy, this William Donahue, says if you read what Jesus says, he says you do have a say and it's up to you to tap into that. And that's the crux of it for me. That's what faith is faith in yourself.
I completely agree with that, John.
Not anything external, absolutely. Not an idol, not a church, a building, a symbol, a cross. It should all be faith in yourself and each other. And all these things we can argue about. We can say the earth is fucking round, it's fucking flat. At the end of the day, who gives a shit? As long as you're not being an arsehole to each other, you're not killing anyone, you can still love each other and be equals and share that you can all get together. But unfortunately, religions and governments don't want that. They want us arguing, and at the end of it, tear your fucking heads off and kill each other.
Yep, exactly that, John.
In its core.
Do you know, I agree with what you just said. Like when you referenced Star Wars with the Force, for me, that's what I believe in energy. like I went through something myself the last 2 years, and when I started kind of I started meditating, I started doing a lot of different things in my life. It completely changed the outlook, and it wasn't that I was believing in God, that God was my savior. It was myself. I knew that if I wanted to change my situation, I had to believe in myself to change my outcome if I wanted to live a certain way or a certain life that I wanted to live. And ever since I started doing that, it's made me well, lots of other opportunities have come into my life because I've put the energy into me, and the energy, and
You
also,
selfish bastard.
well, no, no, but that I've helped a lot of people with what I've went through, right? And when you actually end up helping others, right, and not needing anything in return for that, it for me, that's why I want to live life, because it's more fulfilling for me, right? It's like how
Do
do you
you
put
have a fear of God though, Danny? Do you think when you die, whether it's tomorrow or in
Yeah.
50 years' time, do you believe in afterlife or consequences to your actions on this realm?
No, I don't believe in consequences of my actions on this realm, because it's up to me to redeem myself if there's anything that I've done in my past that's I shouldn't have done, right? In that aspect.
How about you, Perchy?
It's good. It's a good question though, because like I'm in that mindset of no, you just want to be a good person yourself, but equally, I kind of just don't want to get to the end of life, and then you then get to the pearly gates sort of thing, and you're like, ah, crap, I probably should have listened to those people. Like, so you kind of like you don't want to get there.
I
and
hear
go,
you on that. This is 100%.
I think about it all the time. I go, like,
the
I
dilemma.
don't believe in it, but what if? Like, if everyone, all these people had some sort of this, all these people that believed in this, in Christianity, religion in general, were all right, and I didn't believe it. So it's kind of just, just be a little bit.
You'll never meet happier people than people that believe, that have faith, that believe in God, but that also choose the peaceful path of their version of God. Obviously, there's people that believe in God that believe in a more aggressive version of it, and that's problematic. But like, I lived in America, and I used to go travel around America. I used to go to God-fearing states all the time, and that you never meet happier people. They were the nicest people in the world. They weren't always the smartest people in the world, or they weren't always, the coolest or whatever else. But like, they were so happy. Didn't matter whether they had. The thing is, like, you can go to India, or you could go to China, or you could go to Arkansas, or you could go to Luton, or you could go to Manchester, wherever else, and you'll meet people that have got everything, and they'll be fucking miserable. And you could go to people. You could go to places where they've got absolutely nothing, and they'll be the happiest people that you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of that in my life, traveling wise, and I find that the people that have a higher propensity to being happy and at peace with what they have, and just a happy, like they're not struggling like mentally with their physical deprivation, they have faith.
But I think faith comes in all sorts, right? In a sense, faith doesn't have to be a higher power. Faith can be just anything, right? I think we live in a world of faith, though. Like, we have faith in all thought. We sit and talk about football, right, all the time. We have faith in our football team.
I don't have faith in my football team. I don't know about you, mate.
And that's why you're unhappy, Danny. That's why you're so miserable.
I'm very happy about life.
Okay.
No, but Danny, you say that though, but you watch every week. You go if you didn't have faith in Tottenham, whether deep down you have faith, whether or not you perpetuate
that's true.
the world,
That's true.
because deep down, if you didn't have faith in Tottenham, we'll use this as an example, you wouldn't be watching every week. You wouldn't be going every week, because there's still that part of you that whether or not you go, we're going to get battered today, you still have that faith that maybe today isn't that day. Because if you thought that, you wouldn't go. But I use that as a sort of example. But faith is such a broad thing, right? And I think we live in a world of faith, whether or not it's a religion or anything like that. But everything's about faith. We have faith that We have faith that we will go to work and come home. Like we like.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
You
I
have
agree.
to have that. If faith didn't exist in the world, if we didn't have faith.
Is that faith or is that trust?
A bit of both. There's a bit. You have faith that you have faith that you
I think
trust.
faith represents something else. Like I trust the science that if there's a flower pot on a rooftop that I'm walking under, unless someone pushes it off the rooftop, it's not going to fall on my head. I have faith. I have trust. Sorry, in the science that the boiler above me or whatever isn't going to fall on my head tonight.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure if trust and faith are necessarily the same thing.
No, I do get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. Yeah.
Guys, we've been going for 3 hours and 20 minutes. It's been an absolute slog. It's probably a good time to round it off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting late, mate. I need my bed buys, I think.
Yeah, Sean, you haven't shown the photo of Eugene.
Oh, let me see if I've got it. I don't know if I've got it. You know, I might have it on a different. You know what? I'll show it next time. It was a picture. It's a picture of Eugene wearing his hat that I'd re-bleached with the color schemes to mimic Eminem. It was quite remarkable how similar they looked.
Oh, I need to see it.
What, Sean? What, this one?
How did you put that? First of all, how have you got control of my own screen?
Because you gave me power. You know what? Oh wait, hang on.
Here's between faith and trust, right? Where
does the balloons come from?
There you go. I don't know.
Hey,
yeah.
Yes, this one. That one.
Sean has faith that I
Sean Basuma's not in your place, is he?
Basuma's not here. Yeah, I have faith that when I give Perchy access to my StreamYard, that I can trust him not to take over control. And ultimately, one of the things
you should see some of the videos he records backstage. Trust me, some wild shit in there. I'm joking, by the way. I'm joking.
I need to remove the access immediately, guys. Listen, it's been 3 hours and 20 minutes. I've had an absolutely wonderful evening. Has anybody, Susie? Have you had a lovely time?
Yeah, it's been really nice. Thank you.
Are you going to come back again?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Perchy, are you going to come back again?
Yeah, I'll come. Susie's better than I am in this. I'm not. She talks about this all. She loves this show, by the way. She talks about it all the time. She's
don't.
Yeah, you do. Don't lie. Let's not lie. But yeah, no, I think Susie.
Sean, I called Jack the other day. I went out the room, and then when I came back, he was singing your intro tune.
No, she's out.
Oh, sensational.
It's so
Listen, Susie,
annoying.
you and I need to speak offline because I need some more dirt on Perchy.
Susie, you got to film that next time. You got to film that next time. That'll be Sean's new intro. Singing it.
I hum away to it, gets stuck in my head.
Perchy, is it true? Were you actually singing the theme tune?
I wasn't singing it. I was humming
the theme tune.
I was humming it.
No, you sang the first words about going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. It's like the first little bit at the beginning.
Nice.
Was he dressed like what's her name in the video? Escape.
Alice.
Wonderland.
That's it.
Yeah. Jack in Wonderland.
Guys, I've got so much. I'm working on about 5 or 6 different projects for different things. A couple of them are music videos that I'm making via Asuno for the songs, but I've got all the for MK Ultra for all sorts of things. And I'm going to be uploading some sort of longer form content to try to grow the channel. But so lots of things coming. Nikos, have you had a good time, mate?
Mate, always wonderful. I love the skepticism, mate. I love the pushback. It's a little bit late.
You're
2 a.m. in the morning.
I had a little chat with Eugene, by the way. Thank you, Eugene, for coming on. I had a little chat with him back on my WhatsApp. He was like, I feel a little bit bad because Nikos is getting all of the grief.
Mate, I don't mind. I'll take it, mate. I'm wearing God's armour. I don't mind.
He doesn't feel bad at all.
I don't feel bad at all, mate. I like it because people are going to watch back at this and they're going to make a decision one way or the other. And I always think I'll give a good account of myself. So I have no problem.
You absolutely do. Teflon John, who sits there in the background, sits in the background, sending me ammunition to help Nikos's cause, but doesn't come off mute enough to actually stand up for Nikos.
I see 11 messages in the comment section. I've not even clicked it, John. Sorry. Probably help me. Probably like tips, like do this. Sorry, mate. Just I'm all right. I got it.
I'm all there for you tonight. You know I have.
No, mate. Again, like I said, mate, everyone's entitled to their opinions, aren't they? You know, just mate. I believe what I believe, and if people don't like it, then that's up to you, isn't it? I'll fight my corner.
I hope that I have done a good enough job in actually backing you up at Nikos at times, going, listen, I agree with you on this bit, but at the same time, don't agree with, I think there's...
Mate, I think we're making progress from the first show where, you was completely 100% against me. Like, you seem to fight my corner a bit more, so I feel like I'm making progress.
I'm open-minded. I like you said, right, you figure out your own path. You are your own God. I think, Perchy, you said it, right? You are your own God, essentially, right? You find your own path. And in my mind, in my heart, I haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. And whenever I look around, I'm looking for reasons. I'm looking for ways to go, well, that's bollocks, and that's a load of bollocks. That doesn't make any sense. That's clearly disprovable. And on the Earth's shape, primarily, I'm sorry, I'm just saying that there's a lot of your side of it, Susie, and yours, Perchy, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Go and check out the size of the International Space Station and figure out how the fuck that thing looks bigger than a plane, but yet it's 500 times higher in the sky, and yet it's the same size. Explain that to me next time we get together. And Nikos and John, as I've said, there's parts of your story as well that don't make any fucking sense. So,
just someone show me some curvature. For fuck's sake. The easiest way to get over this debate is someone show me some curvature, and then it can be completely over. That's it. Done. Over. Ball. Round. Done.
Show me the curve.
You won't believe the curve if you saw the curve.
Well, show me someone, we'll see if we'll believe it or not. As long as it's not a picture from NASA that gets, $23 million a day or whatever. Show me some real amateur curve. We'll see.
John, you had a good time, mate?
I've seen some curves.
Oh, I see some curves. Don't worry, I see enough curves.
John, you've had a good time, buddy?
Yeah, it's been emotional.
Danny, mate, you and Perchy are new members of the Rabbit Hole Ramblers. So, are you going to come back, Danny?
Yeah, I'll definitely come back. It's my favorite show. I love it. Thank you for having me as well.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, forget all the
Nice to
football
meet you
stuff.
guys as well.
That's bullshit. This is where it's at.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want to make one thing clear, though. Just sorry, Danny. One thing we've turned in from a skeptic corner has turned into a skeptic 2/3. Just to make that clear. When me and John are now the minority, where we was like half and half earlier.
Yeah, we need to come back on.
I definitely want to hear more things from John and Nikos next time. John, John, I think John's very knowledgeable. I want to hear some more stuff from John.
Very articulate. I love listening to John.
Fight a little, Danny.
I don't hear that very often.
What's that? What's that?
I don't hear that very often.
Fight a bit more. He can talk a bit more.
Yeah. You pipe down, Susie.
That's my bedtime. I'm getting way too cheeky now.
Guys, we'll leave it there. It's been it's a mission, an absolute mission. I've loved it tonight, though. Thank you so much, everyone. Listen, I'm not sure if we covered Hollywood off as much as we did other things, but you know what? That's the way we go here. We'll try again in 72 hours time, Friday night. If you guys can make it, we'll do it again. Appreciate everybody, Perchy, Susie, Nikos, John, Danny, and Eugene, and to everyone in the chat. Please do hit the like and the subscribe, and I will see you guys. Well, me personally, I'll see you tomorrow morning on Spurs Talk Show, and then we've got a big day tomorrow with Tottenham. But we'll see you back here on Friday. Appreciate you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.